Hello, welcome to the Fanfic Majesty. Chapter 126. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. What? Nani? Forced to open. Qin Luo's face suddenly turned dark. There was a mandatory upgrade in the Chambord Islands. At that time, the system did not remind him to upgrade, so during the fight with Sakazuki and Pelusolino, he went into a coma. In this form, Sakazuki and Pelusolino misunderstood that Qin Luo was asleep, and the two jumped angrily. Fortunately, the repulsion space was perfect last time. After a few minutes, neither of them broke Qin Luo's barrier. Unexpectedly, in just a few months, the damn thing would break through again. The sudden upgrade last time caused Qin Luo to fall into a coma. Then Qin Luo took the opportunity to slaughter the system severely. Now the system is smart and reminded me 3 seconds ago. Damn, what's the difference between this and not reminding? Qin Luo's brainstorming, if using Amaterasu to burn all the warships or even kill all members of the naval headquarters within 3 seconds, this is obviously impossible. Good luck for you. Qin Luo looked down at Marine very reluctantly, and shouted in a low voice. Tell your boss, the old bald ghost was caught by me, and prepare 50 devil fruits. When I am free, I will come to ask for it. After leaving a sentence, Qin Luo directly used Kamui's body and disappeared. After disappearing, Qin Luo appeared in a space where there was a stone chuang. As soon as he touched the edge of the chuang, 3 seconds later, he fainted. Advertisement. At the same time, it was originally hit on the extremely hot sea. Countless pupils looked at Qin Luo's disappearing figure, startled. I haven't recalled it for a long time. The naval headquarters will be destroyed just now, and it will disappear without a trace in the next moment. The entire naval headquarters doesn't know what Qin Luo is thinking, what exactly he wants to do. While they were stunned, the black flames that Amaterasu displayed quickly burned, and the entire battleship was dyed black, and the flames swept across the spot. Those lieutenants who were stunned by Qin Luo, Admiral, were shocked when he saw the monstrous fireworks. Abandon the ship. Abandon the ship all. The remaining ships. Quickly rush out of the sea. Stay away from this black flame. This black flame can burn even ice. Gang Gukong quickly issued an order. Damn it. People leave so much trouble. Sakazuki's face was pale. He still didn't understand what kind of existence Qin Luo was. Not only can you control the thunder and lightning, but you can also control the Sea Kings. Just now Qin Luo dismissed the Sea Kings directly. This is simply terrifying. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. At sea, he is invincible. In the sky, he is equally invincible. On the island, they also took Qin Luo nowhere. Can control the thunder and transform into fireworks. This is just what Sakazuki saw. If he had witnessed the fight with the bald old man, he would be even more frightened. Retreat. Ice Age. Advertisement. Kuzan's heart shuddered, freezing the monstrous sea into ice. Pieces of marine abandoned the boat and fled, jumped off this boat, and then boarded another boat. In just a few minutes, the battleships that had stood densely full of figures were empty, and then they were swallowed mercilessly by the black flames. Hurry up and sail. Get out of here. Gang Gukong growled and gave orders. Shockwave. Sengoku turned into the form of a giant Buddha, and the giant palm banged forward violently. Suddenly, a powerful repulsive force acted on the warship, which instantly moved away from him by several tens of meters. Icicle. Not to be outdone, Kuzan strenuously bombarded the battleship that had been swallowed by the black flames. Their battleship broke through the ice and moved quickly. The Sakazuki also blasted the eruptive fire, lava hitting the ground, and their ship quickly moved away. It happened to be downwind, and on countless warships, they raised their sails, broke everything, and rushed out of the black flame range. 1,000 meters away, with dozens of broken warships floating on the sea, naval headquarters looked at the black flame fireworks in the distance, surprised. Marshal, this black flame can burn everything. If it continues to burn forever, I'm afraid the entire sea will be burned to death. What kind of element is this? It's burning when you touch it. Unusual fireworks. Lord Charmako died under this black flame, and was killed by Qin Luo in front of our naval headquarters. All the personnel of naval headquarters stood on the deck with dignified eyes, all shukui bowed their heads awkwardly. In the presence of everyone in naval headquarters, killing the most critical figures, this time their action failed abnormally. Although they had remedial measures, in the end, Charma Kushung could not escape death. Advertisement. As long as people die, it is their responsibility, without excuses. They wanted to redeem Sakazuki, Zephyr, Sengoku and others, but they did not expect to pay such a heavy price in the end. Lord Tianlongren, one of the 5 elders, and their naval headquarters also damaged no less than 50 or 60 battleships. This kind of loss, even if the steel frame is empty, took a breath. Now there are only a dozen warships left. The original magnificent battleship core only has this family property. Moreover, these dozens of ships are still in a dilapidated state. You must ask for it in the future. Gangukong gritted his teeth, his tone cold. Except for the steel bones, everyone else bowed their heads and became silent. It was the silence of defeat, and the guilt of defeat. Suddenly, a decadent aura emerged from them. Many Marines' hearts were completely broken. Qin Luo, I will surpass you. I will catch you. To prove that Marine is just. It is indestructible. Sakazuki spoke with a cold voice, seeming to be making a major decision. In comparison, Kuzan on the side was much quieter. He sat on the deck without saying a word, thinking about the process of fighting Qin Luo. Kizaru was also dull, rubbing Hungarian's mouth, and was shot by Qin Luo with an arrow. He was able to stand up and continue fighting, already gritted his teeth. Garp. The first second was still gloomy, the next second he took out the senbei and bite it down, the clicking sound was very loud. On the originally lifeless battleship, Garp came alive again because of Garp's extreme strangeness. Hey, do you eat or not? At the same time, the Whitebeard pirates have completely moved away from the island. Because of the marine attack, Whitebeard quickly evacuated, but his mobile did not leave as soon as possible. Instead, he witnessed Qin Luo and naval headquarters from a distance. After the battle, even when one of the 5 elders came out at the end, Whitebeard could see clearly. After the battle, Whitebeard directly issued an order to thoroughly investigate Qin Luo's identity. Chapter 127. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. In a short moment, from obscurity, rising to such a speed, it is certainly not ordinary people. What kind of fruit is this? The well-informed Whitebeard frowned. Now he has calmed down, and his anger at Qin Luo's blackmailing devil fruit has also been suppressed, rationally analyzing who Qin Luo is. Papa. Diamond Joe's covered Hun's mouth and walked to Whitebeard. He was kicked into the air by Qin Luo and his injuries were not healed. He was already strong enough to stand here. Joe's, how powerful is Luyuan's kick? Whitebeard didn't want to make fun of Joe's, but asked how spicy Luyuan's kick was. Strong, outrageous. Joe said this for the first time, holding a diamond fist with lingering fears. Joe's is a devil fruit paramesha capable person. He can diamondize parts of his body and has the strongest physical defense in the world. Under such a hard body, Joe's, who can kick a kick, is injured. Thinking about it is scary. Order to go down and collect information. I want to fully grasp all the news of Luyuan, from obscurity to rise to fame. There must be something tricky in it. This is the first time Whitebeard has heard of the name Luyuan. If it weren't for Marco, he still didn't know the name. How is Marco? Whitebeard lowered his head and asked. Temporarily comatose. With super resilience as strong as him, weak to be tortured, and I don't know what kind of abuse he has been subjected to. Diamond Jaws's eyes were red, and he gritted his teeth. Today's battle is destined to be recorded in history, and Whitebeard slumped in New World, and still slumped in one person. Let's go. Whitebeard's expression was a bit decadent, and he was no longer the fearless man. Advertisement. Papa. Diamond Joe's noticed the decadent aura on Whitebeard's body, his nose was sour, and he felt guilty. Don't blame you, stupid sons, you're fine. I'm Whitebeard fought for a lifetime and became one of the 3 great pirates, just to protect you stupid sons, those wealth, declarations, prestige are nothing to me. It's worth mentioning. What I need is just a home. Whitebeard rarely showed emotions, his father's love is like a mountain. Papa. Diamond Joe's couldn't control it anymore, and tears broke out. Sachi, Foil Bista, Bramonk, and Lucio were also moved. Stupid sons. Whitebeard was speechless, taking everyone into his arms with one hand, silently. Dash 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 dash. In a space in New World, Shinluo lay on a stone bed, and it took a long time to wake up. He opened his eyes, rubbed his slightly numb head, and muttered to himself, "System, how long has it taken you to update the system this time? I feel my arms are stiff." Host. It took 3 hours, 20 seconds and 57. 3 hours. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chin Luo's expression was bitter. It took less than 10 minutes last time, but this time it took him 3 hours. System, reasonable. I used to be like gold. You spent 3 hours on me. Don't you plan to make up for it? Chin Luo twitched the corner of his mouth, showing a smirk. Hearing that, the system suddenly had a bad premonition, and hurriedly said, "The upgrade is to optimize the system. In order to make the host more enjoyable, if it is not upgraded, the system will not keep up with the pace of the host. So, in order to keep up with the pace of host's pretense, upgrading is the most important thing." Huh, still flattering. But, this flattering, give you a point. Chin Luo smirked, and continued to blackmail. System, I'm an inch of gold. Some people say that an inch of gold is hard to buy an inch of time. If I knew who said it, I would definitely go up and slap it to death. Is it hard to buy? I can't buy it. Time is a wonderful thing. Use a part and lose a part, and do you understand the value of my time? In just a few tens of minutes, I blackmailed Whitebeard 40 devil fruit and asked him to sign it. I paid 60 devil fruit IOUs, and it took me a few minutes to get Marine to take out 25 devil fruits and exchange points. The total is more than 50,000. Let's count as 50,000. I used 3. In 10 minutes, I redeemed 50,000 points. You said my time is precious or not? You cheated me for 3 hours this time. It is totally unreasonable not to give me hundreds of thousands of points. Advertisement. Chin Luo has a leisurely look. Last time he blackmailed the system, but he blackmailed some oil from the old fox. If he didn't blackmail this time, would he still be Chin Luo? Quote. The system was silent for a while, speechless. After a while, the system made a sound. What on earth do you want to do? Me. Chin Luo. Play money. No, it's points. Quote. How many points? The system is almost speechless. How come you run into such a host? More than 100,000. Chin Luo said with a big wave. No way. The system refused, and you robbed of Whitebeard devil fruit and Marine devil fruit. It was not under the precondition that everything was ready. If you really want to count it, Chin Luo is 10 at best. Earn these 50,000 points in a few days, and this product is only the time to trade devil fruit. Oh shit. Profiteer. 80,000. 0. No way. The system still refused, but the voice was much weaker. Master drafting. 10,000 head office. Seeing Chin Luo furious, the system fell silent again. 10,000. Absolutely forced blood loss. The loss of blood has no return. Other systems eat the host to death. How come to it? There is a big turnaround. The host eats to death, and the system just wants to cry without tears. Ah. Advertisement. 5,000. 5,000 to death. Deal. Seeing the points extorted from the system, he nodded in satisfaction. Of course Chin Luo knows the loopholes in his calculations, and the system certainly understands it, but it is definitely not wise to be able to pit the points, hundreds of thousands of points. Therefore, 5,000 points are also within Chin Luo's expectations. It's so relaxing and comfortable to lie down for 3 hours and get 5,000 points. Seeing Chin Luo's expression, the system suddenly regretted. Tasty is already open, it's too late to regret it. Hurry up and give me points. Chin Luo wanted to be a debt collector, shouting arrogantly. Give you. The weak system is like a little wife, who dare not resist at all. In an instant, Qin Luo's points panel changed rapidly, rising from 51,400 points directly to 56,400 points. Seeing that the blackmail was successful, Qin Luo regained his expression and said, "Now it's time to catch the bald old man." Kamui. There was illusion before Qin Luo's eyes, and the whole person was twisted and sucked in. Chapter 128. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. There was a wave of fluctuations in the space, and then Qin Luo appeared in the boundless desert. The sun was scorching, the air was scorching hot, and the sand was extremely hot. As soon as he appeared, Qin Luo began to sweat. This is a different space, different from the pirate world. Qin Luo grabbed the bald old man just now and threw him directly into this space. Stepping here now, looking around, where the F-King old guy is. Escape. Qin Luo whispered, looking at his feet. There was a pair of footprints, and these footprints disappeared directly on a piece of sand in the distance. Escape with moonwalk. Qin Luo sneered. One of the 5 elders definitely didn't know what space this was, or he still thought it was pirate world, so he escaped decisively. Repulsion fluctuation. Qin Luo closed his eyes. The repulsive force was like ripples, and slowly began to swing around. Any small fluctuations were felt by Qin Luo. 50 meters, 100 meters, amazing speed. In the blink of an eye, the whole desert, it was all under his perception, and any animal activity could not escape Qin Luo's perception. Is there? Qin Luo sneered in his heart, then shot away. After a short time, Qin Luo caught up. An old man in a white robe ran wildly in the air. Can't escape. Qin Luo's figure flickered, quickly approaching the old man. Damn it! So fast. The old man was shocked, his muscles swelled, he stomped on the void dozens of times, and galloped forward. Kamui. Qin Luo's gaze condensed, and suddenly, the figure of the old man was distorted, and the figure of Qin Luo disappeared in the endless desert, and then appeared on the ice and snow. What is this place? Advertisement. The old man was panicked and looked up directly into Qin Luo's eyes. Suddenly, Qin Luo's Mangekyo Sharingan spins frantically. Distinguished heavenly gods. Whoosh. The old man's original panic and confusion suddenly disappeared. In the blink of an eye, he knelt in front of Qin Luo and said respectfully, "Master." Distinguished heavenly gods is Uchiha Shisui's illusion in Naruto world. It is known as the strongest illusion. It can control a person, directly invade the opponent's brain without being noticed, and permanently and completely modify the opponent's will. Qin Luo just took the actual battle. Uchiha Shisui's strongest move, distinguished heavenly gods, forcibly modified the old man's will, and the old man didn't even notice it. In the consciousness of the elder, Qin Luo is his master, and his becoming one of 5 elders with the highest authority is only the master's arrangement. Well, Qin Luo used distinguished heavenly gods for the first time, so he didn't know the effect yet, but he was relieved when he saw the old man kneeling directly to him. I ask you, did the 5 of you live for 800 years? Yes, master. Then the 5 of you ate the fruits of life. Yes, master. Then why are you afraid of the celestial dragon? Qin Luo thought deeply and began to ask. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Thinking that if the Tianlong people die, none of us will survive, so they can't die. Why? Qin Luo raised an eyebrow and asked. I don't know. The highest secret is in the hands of the elder brother and the second brother, I don't know. The bald old man shook his head in doubt and said. Qin Luo was thinking deeply, and it seemed that it was difficult to detect the situation. Afterwards, Qin Luo put the bald old man into the system space, and he himself used Kamui to leave the place. Using distinguished heavenly gods once will consume Qin Luo's pupil power, similar to the cooling time, it must be used after a long period of recuperation. The system shortened this time to a few months. Back to the Fishman Island, Qin Luo opened the system panel. Summon the full level, you can summon the strong at will. Advertisement. Qin Luo glanced at the numbers and prices on it, and he sighed. Too expensive. Simply can't afford it. After this system upgrade, Otsutsuki Kagaya also skyrocketed from the previous 80,000 points to 160,000, and the 6 old men also doubled. Qin Luo had just summoned at full level. Otsutsuki Kagaya is sold for 80,000 points. 6 old man is 50,000 points. The sales points of the two have risen and doubled just because they have gone up by 1 level. System, come out. Qin Luo's face was dark, and he felt like he was pitted. Host, what do you need? The system asked with a guilty conscience. Tell me, why did the summon price of Otsutsuki Kagaya and Ludao and others increased? Wasn't it much cheaper before? Oh, it's like this, because many worlds are using Otsutsuki Kagaya and Ludao and others, so they are very busy and demand exceeds supply, and naturally they have to raise the price. 6 Dao is very busy. Puff. Qin Luo spouted out old blood. I'm busy, you are paralyzed. Sure, this system must be deliberately raising prices, profiteers, really profiteers. The 5,000 points just extorted can be recovered by this system in minutes. There is no way. I am forced to upgrade. If I don't upgrade, I will automatically stop working, QAQ. The system said in a helpless tone. Roll, roll, roll. Qin Luo waved his hand upset, and then watched the price list of the summoned character. Tsunade, Orochimaru, Uchiha Itachi, Senju Hashirama, Uchiha Madara, Saitama. Damn, it's still too expensive. Qin Luo looked faintly and pondered for a long time before looking at Uchiha Itachi. Uchiha Itachi has a high popularity, and Qin Luo also wants to really meet him. It's you, God Itachi. Qin Luo waved his big hand, and his 30,000 points quickly disappeared, and he was replaced by an arrogant and indifferent man. He was not wearing a red cloud and black robe, but a melancholy and indifferent temperament was completely revealed. The Scarlet Mangekyo Sharingan appeared, handsome. Uchiha Itachi. Advertisement. Qin Luo smiled slightly, looking at the character he had summoned. The host. Uchiha Itachi lowered his head slightly with a solemn expression. Put it on. Qin Luo waved a big hand, and a red cloud and black robe appeared on Uchiha Itachi's hand. Uchiha Itachi nodded and put on the red cloud and black robe. There are 26,400 points left. Qin Luo searched twice and found that Tsunade was priced at 25,000. It's you. Deny Tsunade. Qin Luo rubbed his arms, and for a moment, there was illusion before his eyes, and Qin Luo's sight was occupied by the 2 muddy circles in front of Tsunade's Huns. The host. When Tsunade came out, he first shouted respectfully to Qin Luo, and then looked at Uchiha Itachi who was standing aside. Itachi. Mother-in-law Tsunade. 3.4. Boy. Mother Tsunade. Am I that old? Upon hearing this, Tsunade gave Uchiha Itachi a thump as soon as he raised his arm. Sorry. Mother-in-law Tsunade. Uchiha Itachi smiled awkwardly and touched his head. Seeing the relationship between the two, Qin Luo already understood that Tsunade probably already knew about Sarutobi Hiruzen, Danzo, and Uchiha Itachi, otherwise they would not get along so easily. Since there are fellow villagers, you should know each other. Qin Luo smiled slightly and brought Nine Tails and Taotu out of the system space. Okay. Tsunade and Uchiha Itachi saw the figure of Nine Tails, and they were like enemies. Dash 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 dash. Recommend a friend new book. Cool book. City God level inheritance system, very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Old driver's book. It's worth seeing. Chapter 129. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Nine Tails. Nine Tails. Uchiha Itachi and Tsunade both changed their expressions and became vigilant. Uchiha Kid. Tsunade. Nine Tails was also surprised. Fire style great fireball technique. Uchiha Itachi took the lead, and the chakra in his body turned into flames, spit out a giant great fireball, and swept towards Nine Tails. As soon as he flew, Qin Luo shook his head with a wry smile, his figure flashed, and a gang wind burst out, instantly splitting the flames. Uchiha Itachi, Nine Tails is my pet, so I'm so rude. Shin Luo stood with his hand in his hand, slashing and attacking with one finger, calmly said. Pet. Uchiha Itachi's pupils shrank, a little surprised. Ninetales has always been alone, no one can control it, and I didn't expect that it would be surrendered by the owner today. Huh, Uchiha kid, if it weren't for the master here, I would definitely hit your scalp. Ninetales stared at Uchiha without fear. Enough. Shin Luo snorted and said, now you are my subordinates. You are not allowed to kill each other. If anyone dares to break the rules, I will deprive you of your power. Yes. Yes. Uchiha Itachi and Ninetales nodded repeatedly and replied in a low voice. Brush. A red cloud and black clothes were thrown by Shin Luo and directly to Tsunade. This dress is my Luyun's sign, my name is Luyun. Shin Luo's eyes were flat. Advertisement. As Akatsuki's clothes. Master. I don't want to wear Akatsuki's clothes, I still like to wear my own. Tsunade was a little disgusted with the clothes and frowned. Don't like it. Do whatever you want. Shin Luo nodded in thought, then said to Uchiha Itachi, this world is different from the world you are in. In this world, there is something called devil fruit. Something. You can ask Ninetales. After you are clear, you will leave this place and find devil fruit for me. Devil fruit. Uchiha Itachi frowned with Tsunade, they had never heard of this kind of fruit. Ninetales. Tell them. Shin Luo didn't bother to say anything, so he asked Ninetales. Ninetales nodded and told them carefully. Is it this kind of thing? Uchiha Itachi muttered to himself while looking at the picture. Okay. Ninetales, you and Uchiha Itachi will search for devil fruit. Yes, master. At this moment Tsunade was a little confused, and asked, Master, they are all searching for devil fruit, so what am I doing? You. Shin Luo looked up at Tsunade, especially after spending a few more seconds in front of Tsunade's Hungary. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. I happen to be missing a wife, you can stay and be my wife. Wife. Tsunade's beautiful eyes suddenly widened when he heard the words, and a pair of iron fists slammed towards Shin Luo's front door. Dare to eat my old lady tofu. Even if it is the owner, I will beat your mother who doesn't know you. FK. Shin Luo cheered slightly at the corner of his mouth, and quickly retreated. Damn, why is this Tsunade so hot-tempered as always? What about the said little sheep? System, come out for me. Avoiding Tsunade's punch, Shin Luo shouted anxiously. Host, what do you want to call me? I ask you, doesn't Tsunade mean to obey me? Now I let her be my wife, why is it so repulsive? Advertisement. After the system is upgraded, the original characters in the Naruto world will be restored 100%. Although they listen to the host, the owner's request should not be too excessive. For example, let them warm the bed and let Tsunade be your wife. This violation ideological and ethical matters, if they are not voluntary, they will definitely not work. Damn, can you do this? Of course, if host wants to get on Uchiha Itachi, he will definitely resist. Get out. You are gay. Shin Luo was furious. Shit, who would have sex with a man? Quote. Luyun. Don't run. Give me a punch. Tsunade chased Shin Luo furiously on the Fishman Island. Now Shin Luo is very suspicious, whether it is right or wrong to summon Tsunade. Enough. Shin Luo pretended to be angry, and with a big wave, he grabbed Tsunade's arm. Damn, my husband is unstable now, how can I pay it back in the future? Let go of me, Tsunade yelled, and another pink fist slammed into Shin Luo's mouth. Boom. The original tyrannical fist of destruction hit Shin Luo as if it hit the ocean without leaving any scars. Tsunade covered her mouth, a little shocked and regretful. Only this time, if there is another time, I will definitely make you dying. Shin Luo said coldly, letting go of Tsunade. This little Nizi really has a hot temper. If she hadn't reached her level physically, she wouldn't have any pain in hitting herself. Maybe she would be hurt. Huh. Can I blame the old lady? The old lady doesn't have a favorite in her heart. You can let me be your wife when you come up. It's normal for the old lady to be angry. Tsunade snorted softly, her sullen mouth frustrated. Now, You are not allowed to be my wife. You are not qualified now. You will bring me tea and water, and the maid who made the bed and quilt is ready. What? Do you let my old lady do this? Tsunade stared at Chin Luo fiercely with wide eyes. Give you 10 million, and be a maid for me for a month. Advertisement. What? 10 million. Tsunade was still furious at the first moment, but his expression changed in the next second, revealing the appearance of a wealthy ghost, and his beautiful eyes were shining. Are you agreeable? Chin Luo stood in front of Tsunade with a pair of Hungarians. Tsunade, like Nami, loves money like life. However, Tsunade loves money because of gambling, while Nami loves money purely. The two are completely different in nature. However, isn't this move to deal with two women in a handy way? Seeing Tsunade's impatient look, Chin Luo directly pretended to be helpless and said, "Why? Don't agree. That's fine, then I should spend 1 million to find a female maid. Anyway, you are the eldest lady. I don't want to be a maid," in a low voice. Hearing that, Tsunade suddenly looked impatient, and chewed Chin Luo's arm directly and shouted, "Why don't you? My old lady is willing. Isn't she just being a maid? The old lady used to serve the first-generation old man, although my grandfather almost died of being served by me, but I will serve others too." Puff. After Chin Luo heard it, he almost spewed out a mouthful of old blood. FCK, did you find a maid? How do you feel that Chin Luo has found a nemesis? Tsunade. My leg hurts, give me a thump. Go away, my old lady is not free. 10 million. Don't want it anymore. Okay. Master, what are you talking about? Master, it hurts, I'll pinch it for you now, is it comfortable? Tsunade heard 10 million, and his eyes lighted up instantly, lowering his dignity. Before Chin Luo like a little sheep, he rubbed Chin Luo's shoulders diligently. Chapter 130. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Tsunade's attitude changes simply a 180-degree turn, and his attitude towards Chin Luo is a flattering and respectful breakthrough. Of course, the reason for all this is for money, for her gambling hobby. Master, when can I be paid? Tsunade has now carried a fart of debt, and it is a headache to think about it. The salary is settled at the end of each month. Chin Luo snapped his fingers and said, "The mouth is unproven, I need proof." Tsunade stopped and looked at Chin Luo seriously. Credentials. What credentials? Chin Luo pretended to be puzzled. You give me paper and pen, I will write a voucher now, you sign and draw, do you dare? After stopping, Tsunade walked up to Chin Luo, and Chu Chu looked at Chin Luo pitifully. As long as Chin Luo dared to say a word, Tsunade would definitely change his attitude at the moment, and then punch him. If you dare not, please write it down. Chin Luo raised his eyebrows without fear. After Taotu took the paper and pen, he quickly handed it to Tsunade. Tsunade took the paper and pen, then bowed his head for a while and pondered, and then worked hard at the book, wrote a whole article, and handed it to Chin Luo after he finished writing. Chin Luo gave a faint smile, thinking that your little girl's film could still eat me, and then glanced at the evidence. FK. F*K. Seeing the number on the voucher, Chin Luo's entire face went black. Being a maid for the Master Luyun, a basic salary of 10 million a month, because I am a princess in the wood industry, with a noble status, so I will pay more bonuses for laying mattresses, serving tea and handing water, and kneading my shoulders. Advertisement. First, make a bed. This princess has never made a bed, so the price starts at 500,000 once, twice a day, 1 million a day, 3 times a day, 1.5 million a day, 1 day, 1 month. Because this princess is a woman, she will not get married to her master, so she adds 300,000 yuan a day, 900,000 yuan a month, and more than 3.9 million yuan a month. Second, double quilt. This princess has never folded a quilt, so the starting price is 500,000 once a day, 500,000 a day, twice a day, 1 million a day, a month. Because this princess is a woman, she will not get married to her master, so she adds 300,000 yuan a day, 900,000 yuan a month, and more than 2.4 million yuan a month. Third, I rub my shoulders and beat my back, and have close contact with my master. For the princess, I have never done such a thing. 1 minute, 100,000, 1 hour, 600,000, hereby add the clock, and paying the princess's noble fee. Not everyone can enjoy the privilege of princess needing. Fourth. Fifth. One extra thing. If the owner has evil thoughts and molested himself, he will be punished once a million. Because the master grabbed the princess's arm just now, he was already enough to molest the princess. For the first time, he was warned and fined 2 million yuan. In the end, all the money will be settled on the 30th of the month at the end of each month, and paid in one lump sum. No loss yet. Worker. Tsunade. Service object. Luyun. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The Tsunade below has been signed, but the service object is blank, waiting for Qin Luo to sign. Damn. Are you robbing? Qin Luo is full of black lines, 10 million a month, and his life is raised by Tsunade a full 10 times. If this development continues, I am afraid that every month in the future, he will consume more than 100 million. Ah! After the calculation was clear, Qin Luo spewed out a mouthful of old blood. Damn, don't Tianlong people have such a high-level maid? Qin Luo suddenly felt that he was even more prodigal than the Tianlongren. It's this certificate. Just sign it when you think about it. If it doesn't work, my old lady can't do anything. Tsunade hugged Hungarian with both hands, as if he was sure of Qin Luo's posture. Damn. Everyone says women are cruel, and now Qin Luo has really seen. This Tsunade is exactly the same as Nami, they love money like life, and there is such a big opportunity, that's not a ruthless blackmail a handful. Want to blackmail me? No way. Advertisement. Qin Luo's eyes flickered. Not only the money is mine, even your people are mine. I want to take something out of my hand, but there is no door. Sign or not? Tsunade continued to urge Qin Luo. Sign. Is there anything I dare not sign? Qin Luo pretended to be angry, and then pretended to be extremely dissatisfied and signed the voucher. Tsunade saw that it was finished, and suddenly his eyes were golden, and he grabbed the IOU in excitement, and treasured it as a treasure. Qin Luo couldn't help smirking when he saw Tsunade like this. Still want to get money from me? When the time comes, not only will the money be unavailable, people will be mine. Okay. Master, you must be sore in your waist and legs now, and now I will give you a hammer and rub it. Tsunade stood behind Qin Luo thoughtfully, and his soft, jade-like hands began to slowly knead, squeeze, and force just the right way. Not bad. Qin Luo closed his eyes comfortably, and realized that this was the first time Qin Luo felt the joy of having a maid waiting, and it was also the last time. The next day, in Dragon Palace City, Qin Luo, who had just awakened from his sleep, opened his eyes and saw Tsunade standing in front of Qin Luo sincerely, smiling and saying, Master, please brush your teeth and wash your face. It is good. Qin Luo didn't think much at the time, and was served comfortably and got up. Tsunade changed his lazy posture yesterday and directly waited for Qin Luo to wash his face and brush his teeth. After washing up, Tsunade took the professional attitude of being a maid and folded the bedding neatly. Just as Qin Luo was about to praise Tsunade for his serious work, Tsunade suddenly smiled at the corner of his mouth and said to Qin Luo, Master, you just get up, brush your teeth and wash your face, you must be very tired. Master, you must be sleepy now. Now this princess will make the bed for you. You must have a good rest. In this way, Tsunade opened the newly folded bed again. Master, please go to sleep. Tsunade is like a little sheep, smiling softly in front of Qin Luo. Advertisement. Quote. Qin Luo didn't think much about it at the time. It feels like this is Tsunade's first time as a maid and wants to experience it. Qin Luo took off his clothes and lay in without thinking about it, just when Qin Luo closed his eyes and was about to sleep. Was broken by Tsunade's voice again. 0. Master, you have been resting for 5 minutes. It's time for breakfast. Tsunade will dress you up. Brush your teeth and wash your face. After going back and forth 3 times like this, Luo couldn't bear it in the end. Damn it. It's endless. A touch of anger appeared on Luo's face. Wash your face and brush your teeth 3 times in 10 minutes, fall asleep 3 times, get up 3 times. This his mother almost broke Luo completely. And looking at Tsunade, it was an aggrieved expression. Looking at Luo pitifully, Chu said pitifully, Master, is Tsunade not serving well? This is not too much. A few days later, Tsunade's maid has reached the point of being frantic. In just one day, she made the bed and quilt no less than 50 times. Whether Luo sleeps or not, whether she wants to sleep or not, as long as this Nizi has time, he would get into Luo's room and start to practice stacking tofu cubes. The most hated thing is that Tsunade has washed all his clothes hundreds of times in a day, and even washed his underwear. I just washed the clothes and hung them up. Within a few seconds, I was cheered off by Tsunade and said nervously, hey, the air is really bad. It's all dust and dirty. After Luo saw it, he spouted out a mouthful of old blood. Dust. Ash. You are paralyzed. The air on the Fishman Island Dragon Palace is the best. Where is the dust? Today, looking at such a hard-working Tsunade early in the morning, Luo is full of black lines again. You don't need to do it today, my clothes are all clean. Although Luo said so, it still couldn't stop Tsunade's enthusiasm. He just took his clothes off and washed them. Chapter 131. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Damn, frantic. Luo cursed in dissatisfaction, and was speechless to Tsunade to the extreme. In just one day's work, this girl film attracted nearly $100 million, spreading chuang 50 times a day, folding the quilt 50 times a day, 500,000 once, that's 50 million, and not even that. She makes money by washing clothes. This his mom is too terrifying. Let alone a month, it is almost 100 million even if it is less than a day, wouldn't it be 3 billion in that month? Damn, this is more money than robbing naval headquarters. Apart from Luo, who has such a big hand. Luo is dying of a headache, even if he is carrying out the profiteering project of beating the Tianlongren, he does not earn as much money as Tsunade alone. Hurry up and get chuang, my father will stack the quilt. Tsunade walked to Luo's side, regardless of Luo's nakedness. With his upper body naked, he opened the quilt, and then revealed Luo's more elegant inner. Who? Hey, men and women don't kiss me. Hooligan. Luo rolled his eyes and was extremely speechless. Cut. Who wants to look at you? This princess is busy earning money. Hurry up from Chuan 12 grams to Chuang. Get up Chuang. What to get up? Luo wore a pair of pants and went out to inspect the Fishman Island. Won't be laughed at. The big man is really troublesome, you should really learn to learn Jiraiya's cheeky. Hey, I'll get you clothes. Tsunade muttered dissatisfiedly, and took the clothes that had just been washed in and handed them to Luo. Nuo, put it on. This father is mostly covered. Advertisement. Luo took the clothes, and suddenly his head was covered with black lines. This clothes, is it dripping? It must have just been cleaned. It didn't even dry it, so Tsunade took it over and put it on Luo. Your uncle is still wearing hair. Why don't you just do it? What's the big deal? Tsunade twisted his head to another place with a guilty conscience, and his voice had no confidence. Okay. In view of your serious work attitude, your master, I will also make 3 rules for you. First, no more than 10 times a day for laying chuang and stacking quilts. Second, the washed clothes must be dried before being counted once. Third, a fine of 20 million yuan for washing a piece of clothing. Luo sat on the chuang and spoke seriously. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Tsunade, from yesterday to today, I'm afraid you have washed out my 3 pairs of underwear and a top, right? I am also a real person. Since you have washed them out, then follow the rules and fine them 80 million. Quote. Why? Tsunade looked ashamed, his eyes almost stared Luo. In view of your frenzied work, I can only do that. Tsunade, if you want to make money, it is better to earn money steadily. It's no good to deal with those crooked ways. Qin Luo said in a hurry, anyway. For him, is it not a matter of a word to give Tsunade or not? Since Tsunade is shameless, then Qin Luo naturally has a way to punish the wicked. Damn. I'm quitting. Tsunade flicked his hand. Angrily, sitting down with his hands wrapped around Hun. Don't do it. Okay. Then don't want the salary. By the way, if you don't have money in this world, you won't be allowed to gamble. Advertisement. Qin Luo said a word indifferently, and then left Tsunade alone in the room to sulk. Hey, it's no wonder that first Hokage was almost served by Tsunade. Waiting to die. It's more than just being served. Waiting to die is so simple, it makes people worse than death. Think about the miserable life Qin Luo suffered on this day, it was just a snot and tears. Lu Yun. Where's my sister? Qin Luo just came out and ran into Taotu. Taotu disconnected from naval headquarters for the first time, and she was feeling down. In the past 2 days, Taotu went to look for Tsunade when she had nothing to do, and the two complained to each other. She's in my room, but Tsunade has a bad temper today. You'd better not provoke her. Sister is in a bad mood. Taotu raised her beautiful eyes, and suddenly moved her gaze to Qin Luo's body. His expression changed in a vicious look and stared at Qin Luo. Did you bully your sister again? Miss. How dare I? Qin Luo curled his lips in a miserable manner. HMPH, you wait. Taotu left a harsh word and hurriedly walked towards Qin Luo's residence. Looking at this figure, Qin Luo felt miserable in his heart. Damn it, betrayed so quickly. Repulsion. Aegis. Qin Luo lifted his hands, and an invisible repulsive force shot out from all around his body, repelling the water vapor from his clothes. In a blink of an eye, his clothes were extremely dry. It's still comfortable to wear dry clothes. Qin Luo muttered to himself, and went to inspect the Fishman Island. At the same time, advertisement. World Government. Marshall Naval Headquarters, Gangbone Kong, Sengoku, Zephyr, Garp and others are standing in the administrative building of the Holy Land Mary Geois. 4 of the 5 elders sat at the table, while Gangbone Kong, Sengoku, Zephyr, and Garp stood by. Trash. Even a pirate can't catch it. This spreads. Where can we put the face of the world government? The man with the sword in 5 elders roared angrily. His face was very gloomy, and the sword in his hand moved forward. The void smashed, and suddenly, through the glass, across the void, a building outside collapsed suddenly. Hey, don't lose your temper. The old man with a square face looked at the man with the sword and suddenly said with dissatisfaction, even the bald head was caught. This matter is definitely not as simple as this 507. And, you don't forget, the bald head is the Deadpool of the space-powered person. The wooden villain of the Deadpool has been shattered. That proves that he is dead. With the cooperation of the two, he even killed someone. It's extraordinary. An old man with all white beards and 2 vertical beards nodded, agreeing. Yes, this matter is far from that simple. I'm afraid this person really has the support of a mysterious family behind him, otherwise relying on one person, how to do it like this. Resist naval headquarters and kill Deadpool, and there is no news about bald head. This is definitely not done by one person. My lord, what Deadpool? What kind of spatial ability? Gangu Kong listened to the clouds in the mist, and couldn't help but say something. Don't ask if you shouldn't. At this moment, the other 4 elders frowned and said coldly. Hearing the words, Steel Bone lowered his head in a serene manner. Garp on the side couldn't see it, and roared. Our naval headquarters serves the government and serves you 5 elders. Shouldn't you even know something about it? What attitude? The 4 in 5 elders heard this, and the sword holder frowned and said gloomily. What attitude? The subordinates I have trained so hard have suffered countless deaths and injuries in order to complete tasks for you. I can't even understand the most basic information. What do you think of us, Marine? Garp has a pale face, although he is loyal to the world government, but I am very upset about 5 elders' approach. Chapter 132. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. What do you think of us, Marine? Garp jumped up, clenched to death with an iron fist. Marine. Marine. Marine is just an organization subordinate to the world government. Without the world government, where does Marine come from? Without the world government, where does the people come from? In your opinion, is the world government so unbearable? With a bad face, he glared at Garp. Gar. Gangukong frowned. Although he was slightly dissatisfied with five elders, he still pressed it down and deliberately pulled Garp's sleeve. World government. Oh, if it wasn't for the Li people, the ghost would be willing to work for you, world government. Garp flicked his gloves, turned around furiously, kicked the door open, and walked out without permission. Asshole. Stop. The old man with the drooping beard stood up from the stool and shouted angrily. However, Garp ignored this order directly. Zephyr and Sengoku's complexion changed. Sudden changes caused a dead silence in the hall. Sengoku lowered his head towards five elders and said, "My lord, Garp is a bit reckless in doing things, I will call him back now." "No need." The old man with the sword had cold eyes, a sharp look flashed on his face, and said, "This kind of person who dares to confront his boss, don't need it, Steel Bones, dismiss this person from Naval Headquarters." Dismissed. Expelled from Naval Headquarters. Gangukong's eyes choked. This is the rhythm of driving Garp out of Naval Headquarters. Isn't it right? Before Gang Bingkong interceded, an old man in five elders who had never spoken frowned and said, "He is missing, and Deadpool is dead." The sudden appearance of Qin Luo and Luyun is very tricky, and there is a mysterious family behind Qin Luo. If a marshal-level personnel is rushed out of Naval Headquarters, I am afraid it will be shaken. Shake. Both the old man with the sword and the square-faced were silent. Garp does have marshal-level combat power, and this person is also the mainstay of Naval Headquarters. If Garp is expelled from Naval Headquarters, it will probably cause a lot of impact. The reputation is small, but the key is the huge loss of combat power. It's not worth the gain. Advertisement. What about it? Let him do it arbitrarily. The old man with the sword snorted in disgust. Steel Bone, what rank is Garp now? The old man with the national character face was silent for a while, and then asked Gang Bone in a flash. Lieutenant General. Lieutenant General. Well, let him be a Lieutenant General for a lifetime. Don't want to be promoted in the future, this is also a punishment for him. A word said, the surroundings suddenly fell silent. Five elders nodded all together. On the other hand, Zephyr and Sengoku changed their faces. Lieutenant General. A lifetime lieutenant. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. For Garp, this is simply stifling his future in the cradle. In real life, people go to high places and water flows to low places. Who doesn't want to pursue a better life? A more promising future? Working in a company, 3,000 a month, or an employee, who doesn't want to be the general manager? Who doesn't want to be CEO? Similarly, this principle is equally suitable in this world. It can be said that a word from five elders wiped out Garp's life. For a lifetime lieutenant general, this is the most painful blow to Marine who has dreams. Soldiers who do not want to be generals are definitely not good soldiers. Salted fish have dreams, let alone people. No way. Advertisement. After the Gang Bone 3 thought about it, they directly and resolutely resisted. Garp definitely can't be a lieutenant general for a lifetime. He now has enough qualifications and strength enough to be fully qualified for admiral, and even a marshal. A lieutenant general, this is the reward for Garp's lifetime for the world government and naval headquarters. I don't agree. I don't agree. Me too. Steel, Zephyr, Sengoku are all unyielding. Do not agree. Are you the highest authority or we are? Could it be that your naval headquarters will not be able to rebel? The old man with the sword flashed out his sword, chilling. Okay. That's the decision, Gang Bone. Later you go out and tell Garp about it. If he agrees, let him stay in naval headquarters. If it doesn't work, let him unarm. Leaving naval headquarters. The old man with the national character face replied decisively. This. Gangu was in a dilemma, watching the four old men's speech for a while. Huh. Sengoku glared at the four old men and said, "You will regret this decision in the future, definitely." After speaking, Sengoku turned and left without hesitation. Steel Bone, are these all the subordinates you taught? It's such an attitude. Steel and Zephyr are still being reprimanded by 5 elders. Sengoku walked out of the tall building, saw the 2 guards in front of the building, and said, "See where Lieutenant General Garp has gone." "Garp, where did you go?" A guard pointed in the direction, and Sengoku left without saying a word. Advertisement. Dash 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 dash. A mountainous area, where the breeze is breezy, and the breeze is pleasant. Now standing alone on the top of the mountain, the cloak of justice is blowing up. He looks at the endless sea with a depressed expression. Garp. Suddenly, behind this person, a voice suddenly sounded, but this voice did not succeed in making the figure in front of him turn his head. Sengoku smiled sadly and used moonwalk to fly directly to the person. Boom. 2 wine jars fell on the grass, and Sengoku and Garp stood on the top of the mountain together. Gar, there is one thing to tell you. Let's go. The old man is already ready. Are you expelling from naval headquarters? Garp smiled flatly. No, 5 elders did not order you to be expelled from naval headquarters, but you will stay in the position of lieutenant for the rest of your life. As that's so. Garp's expression was flat and unpredictable. Why? Do you want to leave naval headquarters? If you leave, then I won't stay in naval headquarters for long. Sengoku murmured, tearing open a jar of spirits and taking a sip. The burning sensation quickly rushed from the throat into the lungs, and after a while, the whole body became hot. Leave. Why do you want to leave? The old man entered naval headquarters just for justice. Who cares what the immortal 5 elders think? The old man is for the people of Li people. As for the position, drop it if you want to. Garp replied indifferently, and suddenly saw Sengoku pouring strong alcohol, and suddenly said, Sengoku, naval headquarters is forbidden to drink. Not only did you drink it, but you also dared to drink it in the Holy Land. What? The big deal is being removed by 5 elders. I am very happy about the removal. Ha ha ha. You kid. Garp slammed into Sengoku's Hungarian chamber with a punch, grabbed the wine jar directly, and poured it down. The strong spiciness immediately spread from the taste buds, and the whole throat was burnt intensely. It feels that the dissatisfaction in that heart, depressed, followed the spirits, and rushed in together. Chapter 133. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Take a sip of pride and dilute the bitterness in my heart. Sengoku grumbled dissatisfiedly. That jar of wine is yours, why are you stealing my wine? What's yours and mine? Didn't you come here to drink with the old man? It doesn't matter which jar you drink. Garp smiled indifferently, and the depression in his heart suddenly went a second or two. Yeah, what is their marine officer for? In addition to caring for and benefiting the people, they also have their own dreamland. When Marine becomes Admiral, Marshal, this is also Garp's dream, but at this time, this dream is broken. Break it and break it, Garp thought in his heart. He had already decided to give up this idea in the future. It would be good to be a Marine Lieutenant General, catch pirates, and protect naval headquarters quietly. Thank you, Sengoku. Garp took a sip of wine and looked forward indifferently. Although the setting sun ahead was about to set, it was still brilliant. Drink. Dash 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 dash. Advertisement. The Holy Land of World Government Mary Geois. In the magnificent hall, the steel frame was empty, and Zephyr had already left. Here, there were only 4 people left, and these 4 people frowned, and here 200 fell into a dead silence. If the bald old man in 5 elders does not appear in the world government, it means that he is not dead. If he dies, he will be reborn directly above the world government. Since there is no news about the old man, it means that he really was arrested, otherwise, with 1 day's time, this old man would be able to return to the world government. He was arrested and Deadpool is dead. This Chin Luo is really tricky. The sword bearer showed deep eyes and was deeply worried. Zephyr had already informed that Chin Luo's hometown was extremely terrifying, and even Admiral could not step into it. It seems that this is true, and CP0 has not found this hidden family for so long. It can be seen that the strength of this family is indeed terrifying. We have to think of a way. If this continues, I am afraid that our status will be in jeopardy. There is Qin Luo before and Luyun behind. Is this world going to change now? You must not sit and wait. You must think of a way. What can be done? If we are all killed by Luyun once, is there any way for us to defeat Luyun and other strong people? Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. It's really tricky. Or else, recruit Qin Luo. Let him join Marine. Work for us. And let Qin Luo deal with this flowing cloud. How about? The square-faced old man said this bold after thinking. Idea. Let Qin Luo deal with Luyun. The method is good. But, do you think Qin Luo will agree? The sword holder said calmly. I don't agree. The conditions for the offer are definitely not generous. He caught the bald guy and asked the world government for devil fruit, then devil fruit must be useful to him. It just so happens that we can give him devil fruit, then use his hand to kill Lu Yun. On the contrary, if Lu Yun kills Qin Luo, it will just anger the family power behind Qin Luo. In this way, let the two dogs bite the dog, and we will take the fisherman's life. Isn't it right? Snipe and clam fight for the fisherman's profit. The cloudy eyes of the old man with his two beards drooping suddenly flashed, feeling that this idea was a good idea. Take someone else's hand to get rid of the enemy, indeed. Advertisement. This is a good thing, but Qin Luo and Lu Yun are no fools to get to this point. This matter requires careful planning. The most critical thing right now is to rescue the bald guy. Do you have any suggestions? Save it. Since you said you want to win over Qin Luo, then naturally you should give him some sweetness first. Didn't this kid say to use devil fruit in exchange? Then just give it to him. Not only give it, but we also have more give. Okay. It's just that this kid said he wanted to come to his door to ask for it. Should we just wait so quietly? I have to wait. Let CP0 come over and check Qin Luo's whereabouts. If he doesn't come to us, let Steelbone send devil fruit over. How come there is a feeling of catching up? Don't worry about catching up. As long as you can win Qin Luo, I agree with you. Then let Steelbone arrange it. Dash 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 dash. At the same time, the Whitebeard pirates were recuperating in New World. After Lu Yun captured the Phoenix, Marco, they blackmailed them 100 devil fruits. Whitebeard only gave Lu Yun 40, and these 40 were strange. Disappeared. Although Whitebeard knew that this matter was done by Lu Yun, but he had no evidence, and he could only swallow this bad breath, and besides these 40 devil fruits, he also owed Lu Yun 60 devil fruits. These 60 devil fruits were still written with IOUs, and there is always a feeling of being cheated but helpless. After the sober Phoenix Marco understood the truth of the matter, he felt extremely guilty for everything the Whitebeard pirates had done. He thought that he owed him too much to his father. Therefore, the Phoenix Marco went out to ask for information early in the morning. It was almost noon, and a phoenix with wings spread out from the sky, and landed on the deck of the Mobile Dick. Father. Marco dropped slightly, panting, and then walked up to Whitebeard with a respectful expression on his face. Advertisement. The Phoenix. How did you find it? Whitebeard wanted to give the Phoenix more rest, but Marco the Phoenix refused to live or die, and relying on his own advantage in the sky, he inquired about some information. I found it. Oh, who is Lu Yun? On Earth. Hearing that, Whitebeard's face flashed with strong interest. He had never heard of Lu Yun's name in New World. If he hadn't played against Lu Yun and was pitted by Lu Yun, Whitebeard must still have news. Father, this is some related news about Lu Yun. With that, Marco the Phoenix handed a stack of newspapers to Whitebeard. Whitebeard raised his eyebrows and looked at the words on the newspaper carefully. After a few minutes, Whitebeard regretted throwing the newspaper again and again. Damn it, why haven't I heard of such important news? Whitebeard regretted it. The newspaper said it was Lu Yun's great achievement in destroying the world government in one day. No wonder Lu Yun said at the time that he was not even afraid of destroying the world government. Why did he fear Whitebeard? That's how it was. Whitebeard recalled what Luyun said that day, and suddenly understood that in Luyun's eyes, their Whitebeard pirates were just a joke. The government dared to destroy, what is it to offend Whitebeard? Let Whitebeard destroy the world government, it is reasonable, he really does not have such a great spirit. P.S. I'm a little confused. I wrote Whitebeard to investigate Qin Luo's identity. Sorry, I wrote a bug. Whitebeard is investigating Luyun's identity, not Qin Luo QAQ. Whitebeard knew Qin Luo, but did not know Luyun, and it was Luyun who smashed Whitebeard. I would like to remind. Chapter 134. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. It's not that I dare, but I can't. Whitebeard has fought all his life. His dream is not to become the top big pirate in the world, nor to overthrow the world government. His dream is simple and easy. He just wants to have a warm home. If you attack the world government, although you can leverage the highest authority, Whitebeard must suffer severe damage. Of course, this is also contrary to the nature of the Whitebeard pirate group founded by Whitebeard. At this moment, Whitebeard's thoughts leapt, thinking of a scene decades ago. That day, Whitebeard was still a young child, a child living in an innocent world. It was that day when he witnessed his biological parents die in the hands of Marine. Since then, his fate has been rewritten. From a well-loved happy prince to a runaway kid. After experiencing a miserable and tragic life, Whitebeard felt extremely lonely, very lonely in his heart, and his little heart only longed for family and longing for love. However, these things that are easy to satisfy for other children have become the most difficult luxury items in front of Whitebeard. Dash 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 dash. Advertisement. Thinking back to him over the years, becoming a pirate dominating the side, Whitebeard's side for a while. With such strength, it was only to protect the home he built. Daddy. The Phoenix Marco whispered, pulling Whitebeard's thoughts back. It turns out that the waves of New World 10 days ago were so great that it was caused by Ryayun. Whitebeard muttered to himself, recalling a violent tsunami that he had encountered a few days ago. It should have come from Ryayun. Father, I also inquired. Luyun has now become the patron god of the Fishmen Island. His strength is amazing. He even opened 2 large tunnels through the deep sea at 10,000 meters under the sea. He originally entered the Fishmen Island from Chambord. The Fishmen Island must be coated and pass through the unpredictable deep sea to have a 2 to 3/10 chance of entering the Fishmen Island alive. But after the flowing clouds opened the 2 deep sea tunnels, it only needed in 1 day. The pirate boats can reach the Fishmen Island from the Chambord Islands, and if you want to return from the Fishmen Island to Chambord, it only takes 1 day. The Phoenix Marco reported the situation, shocked. What are you kidding? When Whitebeard heard this, he retorted with a face of disbelief. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Let alone how difficult it is to pave the tunnel from a position of 10,000 meters in the deep sea. Even if it can be pavement, it can penetrate from the deep sea to the Chambord Islands without any support. What a huge project this has to be. There is no 30 or 50 years to complete. Whitebeard vaguely remembers that the last time he entered the Fishmen Island was a year ago. A year ago, their Whitebeard pirates still relied on the coating, and it took more than 10 days to pass through the extremely dangerous. In the deep sea, finally arrived at the Fishmen Island without any risk. A year. Open a 10,000-meter back and forth undersea tunnel. Just sailing from the Chambordian Islands into the Fishmen Island is so thrilling. Isn't it difficult to build a 10,000-meter deep sea tunnel to reach the sky? Advertisement. Even if someone builds, the iron law of nature that cannot be violated still exists. Under the 10,000-meter deep ocean, how terrifying is the water pressure? It can withstand the intrusion of seawater, which is already as difficult as climbing into the sky, and it is impossible to complete the passage in order to keep the channel intact. Father, I heard that the coating industry in the Chambord Islands has been completely abolished. Those coating industries are cleaning up the guys and plan to go to the Fishmen Island and have a bite of food. Although the Phoenix Marco felt Whitebeard's doubts, under musing, he told the news that he had inquired. Is there any evidence? Whitebeard looked up. his eyes faintly swept away. Saying this is utter nonsense now, and Whitebeard must see him in person to believe it. Don't blame Whitebeard for not believing, no matter who, I'm afraid it's hard to believe. Because this has completely broken through their cognition. Yes. Marco nodded hurriedly, and took out 2 more newspapers. There were a few pictures on them. The first one was when Chin Luo opened the deep-sea tunnel. 2 thick mines of water plunged the top of the 2 islands into the void. Picture of. Another picture in the newspaper shows the extremely sluggish coating industry in the Chambord Islands, a miserable scene. After the 2 newspapers, Marco took out the last one and handed it to Whitebeard. In the third newspaper, it is impressive that after Chin Luo fully opened the deep-sea tunnel, 2 circular openings with a diameter of several hundred meters appeared suddenly on the sea level of the Chambordian Islands. The bottom is deep and dark, and there is no bottom. This. Whitebeard read all the newspapers in succession. When he saw the last picture, his eyes widened in shock, his body trembled, and an unbelievable gesture. Advertisement. Father. Marco saw Whitebeard's surprised face and immediately understood the power of Luyun. This news was not vain. Marco. Is this true? Whitebeard was surprised and wondered if his eyes were blind. What's the matter, Daddy? Joe's on the side noticed the change in Whitebeard's tone, and suddenly walked up with a solemn expression and asked. The captains of the squad around them also showed their doubts. For a while, there were many figures around Whitebeard. When those people saw the pictures in the newspaper, they were all shocked. At the same time, an ugly man with dark skin, shaggy beard, and a few teeth missing his eyes flickered faintly and stared at the name. I don't know what I'm thinking about. I don't know. I snatched the newspaper from another pirate group, and I have never been to the Chambord Islands. As that's so. Whitebeard heard the words, put the newspaper away, and said, as a last resort, don't offend Luyun. He alone has the ability to compete with our Whitebeard Pirates Chamber. This person should not be underestimated. Moreover, his pet Nine-Tails demon fox caused such a big loss to the Phoenix Marco. No matter whether the deep-sea tunnel is caused by flowing clouds or the Fishman Island is sheltered by flowing clouds, in short, just follow the flow. Things linked to the cloud must not be provoked. Whitebeard gave such an order with a headache. Suddenly, the Whitebeard pirate group spread. The people who can make Whitebeard look squarely are really rare. At least, there are only this Roger and Golden Lion now, and now, there is one more flowing cloud. Father. In addition to these 2 things, I also inquired about one thing, which is also about Luyun. Chapter 135. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. It's about Luyun again. When Whitebeard heard the name Luyun, he had a big headache. I didn't know anything about this kid before, and the short effort, but all the information about Luyun, couldn't help making Whitebeard a little bored. What? Tell me. Whitebeard asked, rubbing his head. I've heard the gossip. I heard that Luyun opened a business for beating the dragons in the Fishman Island, with a punch of 100,000 and a slap of 100,000. On the Fishman Island, it looks like 10 dragons are tied. The pirates heard that they were able to beat the Dragonites, each with enough treasures and devil fruit to set sail, and went to the Fishman Island. Moreover, I heard those pirates say that no matter how they beat the Dragonites, they even used their full strength to beat the Dragonites that day. I won't die, I'm still hanging on my breath. So evil. Diamond Joes looked at Marco in surprise, disbelieving. Yeah, why do I listen to such a falsehood? Even ordinary Tianlong people are immune to death. Although the Tianlong people are recognized as nobles in the world, it does not mean that they are gods. They are arrogant and arrogant. Are they relying on the 5 elders behind them? They were arrested and beaten 12 immune to death. How is this possible? They are totally arrogant. Is it a body of flesh and blood? Marco, is your news reliable? It's not accurate. How can I listen to you? The more you talk, the more illusory. There was a hesitation and opposition all around, not to blame for Marco's information being too exaggerated. But Luyun was too ruthless. Continue to inquire about this. If it doesn't work, go to the Fishman Island yourself. Remember, make sure you are safe. Whitebeard waved his hand, crumpled the newspaper into a ball, and threw it on the ground. Although Whitebeard doesn't quite believe it, thinking back to the power of Flowing Cloud a few days ago, kicking Diamond Joe's away, catching the Phoenix Marco, and tying Whitebeard with him, is by no means a general. Advertisement. Yes, Daddy. The Phoenix Marco nodded, transformed into a pair of burning phoenix wings, and swept into the void. Go without eating. Whitebeard frowned slightly. This Phoenix Marco was working too hard. No, Daddy, I'll be back when I go. The Phoenix Marco smiled lightly and turned away. Suddenly, the Phoenix Marco marched towards the Fishmen Island. At the same time, the Fishmen Island. Master, can you pay me the salary first? My hands are a little itchy. Tsunade stood behind Shinluo in a charming manner, and kept rubbing Shinluo's shoulders with moderate strength. Suddenly changing the normal Tsunade immediately gave Shinluo a sense of familiarity. That seems to be Tsunade's first day at work. Paying to you? What are you paying to do? Shinluo raised his head and asked. My hands are a little itchy, so I thought. Tsunade Xiaojiabiyu stood in front of Luyun, changing from his previous arrogant and powerful posture. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Itchy hands. Itchy hands scratching. Puff. The peach rabbit standing aside directly sprayed out. Tsunade's face instantly became dark, and her veins violent, but she was still very restrained. Master. I don't have itchy hands. Your hands are not itchy anymore. Are you itchy at all? Ryayun. Tsunade suddenly yelled, but seeing the creditor in front of her, Tsunade instantly became docile into a little sheep. Advertisement. Master. I want to take a gamble, but I don't have any money. The casino doesn't let me bet. Tsunade gritted his teeth and told the truth. Bet. Good. It's okay if you want to bet. It's okay to pay you today, but you want to give me a free massage for 3 hours. Shinluo chuckled lightly, got up and said in a serious tone. I thought that Tsunade would definitely shirk off, so violently that I didn't want to agree. But this didn't happen at all. After Tsunade heard Shinluo's request, he happily agreed and massaged Shinluo even harder. Not bad. Here. Good. Juice. Shinluo opened his mouth and Tsunade numbly handed the juice on the table to Shinluo's mouth, nibbling lightly with a straw. Shinluo pushed a little harder, and the sweet juice flowed into his throat. Cool. Damn, it's so comfortable being served by Tsunade. No wonder the Tianlong people are so depraved. If Shinluo had such good conditions, he would definitely degenerate. Master. I will continue to rub it for you. Tsunade showed a standard professional smile, and then gently kneaded Shinluo. Time passed slowly. Although Tsunade was beating Shinluo on the back, her eyes remained constant. Staring at the time, roaring inwardly, wishing to get the time soon. 3 hours later. Snapped. Tsunade stopped, patted his palms, stretched out his hands, and said to Shinluo, Master, for 3 days, according to normal work, you need to pay me 12 million Baileys. Advertisement. Although Tsunade went crazy a few days ago, he was beaten back to his original form by Shinluo. After that, Tsunade began to work honestly, counting the normal paving and folding quilt, rubbing knees back, and 3 days a day. For meals, brushing his teeth and washing his face, there are more than 4 million in almost 1 day, and almost 12 million Baileys in 3 days. For this world, Tsunade learned a little bit, and quickly understood the rules of this world. Of course, for the hard currency of this world, Bailey, he understood clearly that money in the world of Naruto could not be spent in this world. And Tsunade is even more unlikely to let the owner give him money from Naruto world. In the end, Tsunade can only ask for the world's hard currency, Pele. As long as you can bet, you can do anything. Promise. Shinluo stretched out his hand and lifted it 603. 2 large boxes were thrown out by him. Tsunade's eyes swept away, and gold stars appeared in his eyes, his arms stretched down, and the white palms opened the lid of a box, and he was suddenly ignited by sparkling gold. Liang was blind. He. So many Baileys. Tsunade smiled with a look of a fortune teller. Kong dang. Covering the lid, Tsunade picked up the box directly, and planned to leave and go to the gambling house to kill the quartet. Master. I'm out. This time I have to take a good gamble. Tsunade's eyes flashed with a crazy look of gamblers, wanting to sweep everything. Shinluo nodded with a smile, regardless of Tsunade pulling the box away. Just as Tsunade was about to walk out the door, a dice cup suddenly appeared in Shinluo's hand. Then, his left hand tilted and 5 dice fell into the dice cup. Inside, the crisp sound of impact suddenly sounded. Tsunade's back figure that was about to disappear suddenly stopped, and then Tsunade moved his body over. What? Do you want to play? Shinluo suddenly smiled when he saw Tsunade turned around. This Tsunade is addicted to gambling. Just ask her to gamble, no matter where she is. Tsunade heard the sound of the dice hitting the dice cup, and the whole person was excited, although there was a voice in her mind advising her to leave, but Tsunade's both legs slowly walked towards Shinluo without following his orders. Chapter 136. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. How to bet. Throwing the box on the ground, Tsunade stared at Ryayun with confidence. Bet. Just keep it simple. What's the size? Shinluo gave a faint smile and looked at Tsunade. It is good. Tsunade's skin was like snow, his eyes drooping, and he agreed directly after he muttered for a while. I haven't gambled for a long time. It's difficult to have a chance. Then you can't completely double your assets. Happy. Shinluo made a move with his right hand, and the fruit plate and teacup on the table disappeared. Then, Shinluo placed the dice cup on the table. Tsunade's eyes glistened, and he sat down quickly, smiling faintly in his heart. Compare the size. Shinluo didn't talk nonsense, and the dice cup copied the dice on the table. Suddenly, the dice cup was lifted by Shinluo, flipped back and forth, and rotated up and down. The sound of the dice hitting the wall of the dice cup was very clear and short. In a few seconds, the peach rabbit looked dazzled. And Tsunade sat calmly at the table, softly moving his ears, listening carefully. Boom. The dice cup fell, and the sound disappeared. Finally, Shinluo left his hand, looking at Tsunade with a smile but not a smile, and said, bet big and small. Be big. Tsunade pondered for a while, and directly bet 200,000 Baileys in the big position. She understood the rules of gambling, so Shinluo stopped talking nonsense with Tsunade. After Tsunade bought away, Shinluo raised the corner of his mouth slightly. Peach Rabbit, open the dice cup. Shinluo smiled and ordered. Oh. Tautu lightly nodded his forehead, stood up quickly, walked to the table, and opened the dice cup. Advertisement. 1, 3, 3, 7 o'clock. Shinluo counted the points in the dice cup and laughed. He asked Tautu to lift the dice cup, but didn't want to drop the handle. Finally, let Tsunade tell him about cheating, which was uncomfortable. What? Lost? I lost when I came up. It's bad luck. Tsunade stared at the points in the dice cup with wide-open eyes, downcast, but 3 seconds later, he regained his fighting spirit again. The first one loses, and he will definitely be able to do it later. Win it back. What a mere 200,000. Bet again. Tsunade raised his arm lightly, took out 200,000 Bailey, and threw it to Shinluo. Carry on. Wow. Wow. Boom. I will buy a big one this time. I don't believe it will be small this time. Tsunade was full of confidence, staring at the dice cup with a chuckle, with a winning expression. Peach Rabbit, open it. Shinluo smiled, then Tautu hurriedly opened. 2, 2, 3, 7 o'clock. What? Lost again. Damn it. Tsunade clenched his pink fist, a little frustrated. Are you still gambled? Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Bet. The old lady must win back. Tsunade stared, not believing in evil ways. Dash 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 dash. Damn it. Lost again. Come again. Ha ha ha. I finally won. Come on. This is the beginning of good luck. Luyun, you will definitely go bankrupt today. Huh. You're lucky with this one. Come again. After an hour. Tsunade's eyes are red, his expression is gloomy, his mood is low, and he is very irritable. Damn it. Lost again. Gamble again. Tsunade pushed the push hand impatiently and urged. Advertisement. Sorry. You have no gambling resources. Chin Luo chuckled lightly, and then planned to put the dice cup and the dice away. What? Hearing Chin Luo's reminder, Tsunade woke up and hurriedly turned around, and suddenly found that the 2 boxes filled with gold ingots were empty now, and there was no coin left. Lost to ruin. Tsunade, continue to beat my back to earn Bailey. Chin Luo smiled trivially, without any scruples about Tsunade's look that was about to erupt. No. You can't go. Let's continue to bet. Tsunade grabbed Chin Luo and roared fiercely. What are you betting on? You have no money. No. I'll take the money I'll give you for doing miscellaneous things in the next month. I'll bet with you. You are an overdraft salary. Overdraft is overdraft. Anyway, I want to bet with you. Tsunade looked addicted. Chin Luo smiled and took out a note. Come on. Sign and draw. You will make my bed and quilt, massage and rub my shoulders in the next month. It is good. Hearing that, Tsunade happily agreed and signed it directly. An hour later, Tsunade lost another clean and smooth. It's overdrawn for a month. 10 minutes later, I lost it all again. Bet again. 1 year. Continue to bet. 20 years. In the end, Tsunade directly suppressed her 50 years of time. However, in 1 day, she lost 50 years of youth to Chin Luo. From now on, she will only be the life of a maid. Do you want to gamble? Chin Luo lowered his head and looked at Tsunade with an unhappy expression on his face. Advertisement. Don't bet. Tsunade looked at the stack of IOUs in Chin Luo's hand, and Tsunade's bowels were all regretful. Well, you will be mine for the next 50 years. I told you to go east and you can't go west. If you go south, you can't go north. Remember. Huh. Tsunade turned his head stubbornly, a little depressed. Peach Rabbit, you accompany your sister Tsunade to go out shopping. Losing money will inevitably be a little uncomfortable. Since Tsunade is in a bad mood, I will give you a day off today, but tomorrow, you have to give me a massage on time. Chin Luo Ozbian shook the IOU in front of Tsunade, and then left lightly. Perfect. In 1 afternoon, I took down Tsunade's 50 years. This damn thing is more profitable than beating celestial dragons. No wonder so many people in the real world went bankrupt for gambling, robbed them for gambling, and committed suicide by jumping off the building to pay off their debts. Ah, Tsunade finally clenched the powder fist angrily, and she was very regretful. Damn it, what's wrong with holding money? Why do you have to gamble? Why do you have to suppress your own future youth? Why? Tsunade was very upset. Everyone wanted to fight. In the end, he went to the Fishman Island accompanied by Taodu, borrowed 3 million Taodu, and took the Tianlongren as a vent bag. Went to practice boxing. As for Chin Luo, at this moment, he has already used the Overlord of the Sea to reach his full rank, unfolding his water-melting skills, and quietly entered the world government, the Holy Land Mary Geois. At this moment, the 4 elders are sitting in the hall, discussing something. Who? Suddenly, the old man with a sword blasted his eyes sharply, looked at a teacup on the table, and swept away with sword energy. Boom. Suddenly, under the whistling of the sword, the teacup and the table were instantly cut into 2 sections. The other 3 elders also turned their heads together and shot away. I saw that on the originally empty tabletop, a phantom figure condensed from water emerged. Chin Luo. Boy, I didn't expect you to come. What kind of ability are you? You can even cut it without fear of a sword. Chapter 137. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. My body is made of water, so I am naturally not afraid of cutting with sword. Not only is I not afraid of cutting with sword. Even if I stand and let you hit, you will hardly hurt me. Chin Luo looked at the 4 old men who were facing great enemies. Said nonchalantly. Hearing Chin Luo's words, the remaining 4 people in 5 elders couldn't help but twitch their mouths, so strong. What surprised the 4 old men most was that Chin Luo was able to transform into the body of Rongshui. They have lived for so many years, and they have not heard of any kind of fruit in devil fruit that can directly turn the whole person into water. Demon fruit power is afraid of water, which has become common knowledge in the world. Boy, are you a Logia fruit capable person? The old man with long straight hair, one of the 5 elders, looked at Qin Luo and asked nonsense when he touched the corner of his mouth. No, I am not Logia demon fruit power. Qin Luo shook his head and said. Then what do you want to do when you come to the Holy Land Mary Geois today? Said the old man with glasses, one of the 5 elders. It's okay. I have nothing to do today. I heard that Mary Geois is a sacred place in New World. The scenery is good, so I came around. Qin Luo said while sitting on a seat vacant in 5 elders, shaking his legs. I'm afraid you have the life to turn around, and you didn't have the life to go back. As soon as the old man with the sword said, he quickly released a sword and attacked Qin Luo. The other 3 elders did not move. They also wanted to take this opportunity to test Qin Luo's ability to see if he is worth their 923 capital to win. Seeing the rushing sword energy, Qin Luo snapped his fingers. Repulsion, shield. The surrounding molecules immediately gathered around Qin Luo, forming a shield invisible to the naked eye. Advertisement. Boom. A sound. The sword slashed straight to Qin Luo's body, and the smoke was immediately filled, and the resulting shock wave shattered everything in the 5 elders' room. It's too messy. The scar face in 5 elders looked at the smoky room, holding a teacup in his left hand, and with a wave of his right hand, the window of the room opened. When the smoke in the room completely dissipated, Qin Luo's figure appeared. Sitting on the sofa leisurely as before, shaking Erlang's legs. How is this possible? The old man with a sword who slashed out of the sword looked at Qin Luo in shock. Although he was just a test just now, he did not keep his hand, but saw Qin Luo blocking his blow so easily and holding the sword. The old man still felt that Qin Luo's strength exceeded his expectations. The old man with the sword cast a wink at the other 3 5 elders, and the remaining 3 5 elders began to make eye contact. I said that the people in the world government treat guests like this. When the guests come, they don't serve tea or water, and they don't even say hello. You see that my freshly washed clothes are dirty. Qin Luo pointed to the clothes Tsunade had just washed on him in the morning laughed. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The old man with the sword suddenly felt like a dog in his heart. You can say that it was easy for you to block my sword just now. The clothes are dirty, and the ghost believes in you. Thinking like this in my heart, when the old man with the sword was about to say a few majestic words, the Scar face in 5 elders patted him on the shoulder. Seeing the look in Scar's face, the old man with the sword turned his head to the side and stopped talking. Meeting for the first time, hello, said the old man with Scarface. I'm not good at all. Qin Luo said angrily. Ha ha. Scarface smiled as if he hadn't heard Qin Luo's words. Advertisement. You can have such a strength at a young age. It really is a young talent. Are you interested in joining the world government? The scarred old man looked at Qin Luo soliciting. Qin Luo stretched out his fingers and dug out his ears and said, join the world government. Being a dog of celestial dragons, I'm sorry, I'm really not interested in this. You. The old man with the sword heard that Qin Luo even said that they are all celestial dragons' dogs, and his anger suddenly came up again. Don't be impulsive. The old man with Scarface stretched out his hand to stop the old man with the sword who was about to do it. Big brother, the old man with the sword asked suspiciously. Don't be impulsive, for the sake of the overall situation. The scarred old man turned his head and looked at the old man with the sword, with a serious expression in his eyes. Oh, the old man with the sword retreated bitterly. I said you guys are endless, where is the disgusting of a group of big masters? Qin Luo deliberately covered his mouth and pretended to vomit, said to 5 elders. Stop gossip. Qin Luo, hurry up and hand over your bald head. The old man with long straight hair said at this moment. If you say let it go, who do you think you are? If you want me to let go, let me take 40 devil fruits first. That's not right. 5 elders is such a valuable meat ticket, at least 80. Qin Luo reached out and gestured said with an 8 gesture. Hearing Qin Luo said that it would take 80 devil fruit to be released, the scarred face in 5 elders couldn't help but twitch on his face. Do you think devil fruit is an ordinary fruit? It takes 80 devil fruits for every opening. Even for the world government, It is very difficult to collect 80 devil fruits at a time. Why? Can't you bear it? It doesn't matter. When I meet Whitebeard or Roger someday, I will change them to them. I believe they are still happy to get 80 devil fruits in exchange for 5 elders. Chin Luo sat, said the old man with Scarface, who looked at the opposite side from the chair and didn't speak. At this time, Chin Luo wondered if the price he had offered was too high. Why didn't these people rush to redeem the bald guy? Advertisement. At this time, the atmosphere in the room was somewhat depressed. Chin Luo faced the silent 5 elders. Both of them had their own thoughts and wondered what they were thinking. After a long time, Scarface slowly said, 80 devil fruits, right? I can give you. Happy. As long as I see devil fruit, immediately let go. Chin Luo heard the scar-faced old man agree, and suddenly felt ecstatic in his heart. But what? Old man, remember to finish saying what you have at one time. Chin Luo said impatiently. I can give you 100 devil fruit, in exchange you promised me a condition. What conditions? Chin Luo asked suspiciously. Join the world government. The scarred old man looked like I was sure of you. Impossible, you want me to help you with 20 devil fruits. Do you really think I am a fool? Maybe 2W can consider it. Chin Luo decisively refused. Anyway, he ran directly after getting the devil fruit. Road, 5 elders and they have nothing to do with themselves. Hearing Chin Luo's words, the scarred old man almost squirted out a mouthful of old blood. 2W devil fruit. Even if the inventory of the world government for years is given to you, it is estimated that it is not enough to make up 2W. Well, let me change the terms. The old man with Scarface said. Chin Luo looked at the scarred old man and said that he was listening. I will add 20 more devil fruits, a total of 120 devil fruits. For a bald guy, you have to promise me not to be an enemy of the world government from now on. Chapter 138. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. 120. When Chin Luo heard the words, his expression showed a hint of hesitation and thinking. If there are 100 devil fruits, this has actually reached Chin Luo's expectations. He expected to squeeze 100 devil fruits from 5 elders. Unexpectedly today, 5 elders is so generous, and he took out an extraordinary devil fruit to let Chin Luo release a bald guy, and even asked him to agree not to be an enemy of the world government. To be reasonable, Chin Luo can get these devil fruits and run away. When we meet next time, it depends on Chin Luo's mood to follow the agreement. It can be said that these 120 devil fruits are the same as the ones picked for nothing. But at this moment, Chin Luo intends to die for a while. Chin Luo didn't want to let go of this opportunity to kill 5 elders. After thinking about it, Chin Luo looked indifferent, and looked at the 4 old men in the room with a sneer, with a slightly frivolous expression. Little friend, how are you thinking? The beard was vertical, and the man with 2 sharp blades raised his eyebrows to Chin Luo and asked. 120 devil fruits, in exchange for the bald guy, and you didn't take action against the world government. The old man with the sword waved his robe, and a white robe flew up, and he was killing him. There was a provocation in this invisible energy. It can be said that both grace and power are applied. In response to the ardent expectations of the 4, Chin Luo twitched the corner of his mouth and chuckled. There are only 120 devil fruits. I just want me not to be an enemy to your world government. You old immortals have a good calculation. What? Advertisement. Who are you scolding? The bald-headed old man with a sword turned cold, holding the long sword in his hand, and a terrifying sword aura swept across. Stop. Wearing a black suit, a white curly hair, and a shaggy beard, the old man with a shaved beard lifted his palm, swept out with a vigor, and knocked the bald old man's long sword crooked, and that sword aura was also suddenly changed. Turn the direction and shoot into the wall. Boom. Dust was flying into the sky, a long crack like a ravine burst open from the wall in an instant, countless debris splashed out, and the traces on the wall were shocking. The remaining 2 old men frowned slightly, looking at the sword mark that was half a meter deep. Stop it first. The old man scared winked at the old bald man with the sword and pressed down his long sword. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Humph. The old man with the sword depressedly put down the long sword in his hand, waved his robe without saying a word, but his muddy eyes were full of threats, warning Qin Luo from time to time. Suddenly, the smell of gunpowder in this living room is full, and as long as the negotiation fails, earth-shattering battles will erupt within a few seconds. Cut. Qin Luo dismissed the threat of a bald old man with a sword. Little friend. You must pay attention to benevolence and righteousness. What you just prescribed was 80 devil fruit. The curly-bearded old man with a scar on one side of his face said solemnly. Stop. Don't give me sloppy eyes. Just now I just said that you need 80 devil fruits to change your bald head, and you want me not to be an enemy of your world government. To be honest, it makes me very difficult. It's more difficult than giving you a bald guy. If you really intend to reconcile with me, you can trade out 300 or 400 devil fruits. Advertisement. What? 300 or 400 devil fruit? Standing aside, the old man with a beige beard who had never said a word suddenly jumped a little. 100 devil fruit is enough to make them feel heartache. 300 to 400 devil fruit, this is simply a low price. Wrong. This is robbery. No way. The tall man with a vertical beard stared at Qin Luo indifferently and beat him to death. Boy, we are discussing with you with sincerity. If it weren't for us to cherish talents, now you might have turned into a ghost. The old man with the sword stared at Qin Luo angrily. Oh, really? Qin Luo couldn't help but sneered when he heard the words, you cherish your talents. You are afraid of Luyun's strength, and want to win me, and then let me and my family deal with Luyun. When Qin Luo guessed it, the complexions of the four old men changed quickly, and they lowered their heads to become silent. Oh, did I guess it? Looking at a few elders with ugly faces and silent, Qin Luo knew that he had guessed right. Huh. The old man with the sword glared at Qin Luo, and the long sword slashed out the window, venting the depression in his heart. Suddenly, an invisible sword gas passed through the void, and a giant tree a few meters thick was chopped off. Even the animals on the tree instantly turned into fragments, blood, and dead without a place to bury their bodies. The other elders also looked ugly, so in this way, it seems that they have fallen apart. The scared old man who has always been a peacemaker, put away his smile at this moment, and said with a solemn expression, since the little friend has no intention of joining our world government, and is determined to fight against our world government, let the bald guy come out. 8-10 devil fruits will be delivered to you afterwards. 80. Not enough. Advertisement. Qin Luo fluttered a sentence, and suddenly, the four old men in the living room changed their faces again. Not enough. You said it yourself just now. As long as you give you 80 devil fruits, the bald guy will be released. The old man with the sword trembled all over, his fists clenched to death. Yes. 80 devil fruits are already a very good condition. Then how much do you want? Scar the old man's angry beard trembled, and he once again endured it. This matter must be endured. First, rescue the bald guy. Since the bald guy is in this kid's hands, he must have the means to catch the bald guy. As a last resort, they still don't want to fight Qin Luo to death. 200. Qin Luo showed 2 fingers and shook it in front of a few old men, just sitting on the floor and starting the price. Asshole. With a wave of the robes of the bald-headed old man with a sword, his face was slashed. This time, no one was going to stop this person, and a surging sword aura whizzed out, and appeared directly in front of Qin Luo's eyes. In an instant, the sword aura swept across. Boom. The mazukage that Qin Luo turned into suddenly splashed away in front of this princess. The sword aura was still violent. It directly swept across the wall with a loud roar. The front wall was overturned by the sword aura, and the bricks and tiles were suddenly overturned. It was transformed into powder, which was crushed to pieces. As soon as the old man with the sword shot his hand, the other 3 old men stood up directly, looking at the phantom that was penetrated by the sword energy with an unkind expression. Slowly, the water drops quickly condensed, and then, under the surprised expressions of the 4 people, they once again transformed into a complete body. Chapter 139. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. I told you all, even if you are exhausted, You don't want to hurt me at all. Qin Luo stood in front of a few people with a hint of helplessness and speechlessness in his expression. Damn, what kind of power is this? The old man with the sword looked gloomy, and his pupils were full of blood. It's all right. This must be Devil Fruit's ability, but, in this world, there are devil fruits that are not afraid of water and use this ability. It's impossible. No matter who you are, as long as you eat devil fruit, you will be disgusted by the sea, where there is any hydrophilic devil fruit. This must not exist. Even Kuzan, he is Logia frozen devil fruit, but he same fear of sea water. Then what is this ability? Who will explain? Scared man asked with doubts. Suddenly, the faces of several old men were depressed, and the color of doubt rose sharply, and they didn't know what Qin Luo's ability was. Don't guess. I am not demon fruit power. From the beginning, I didn't eat devil fruit. It's not demon fruit power. I didn't eat devil fruit. Do you think we are 3-year-olds? Qin Luo was too lazy to refute these words of disbelief. After reuniting his figure, Qin Luo sat down with Erlang's legs upright in front of a few old men, then picked up the fruit on the table and bit down. Crack. This scene immediately surprised 5 elders with success. Can I ignore any attack? But can it cause substantial damage to the object? The old man with the sword stared at the bitten fruit in Qin Luo's hand, and the corners of his eyes twitched. Damn, what kind of ability is this? The tall man also said, this ability is very troublesome and tricky. Armed color. Hardened. Advertisement. The old man with beige beard and hair suddenly thought of Logia fluid, and immediately, the iron fist covered in armed color whizzed at Qin Luo Phantom. Boom. A punch penetrated, and the domineering fist wind suddenly smashed the drops of water. Huh. See if you die. With his fist down, the old man with beige hair raised a trace of contempt at the corner of his mouth, watching the water stains spilling on the field. At this time, the water stain did not condense, but turned into a pool of stagnant water. Died. Huh. This person is Logia demon fruit power. Why didn't I expect to use armament hockey to deal with? Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The trivial clown, now being beaten with a punch, is really dead and thorough. Seeing that the water stains on the ground had not recondensed, several old men breathed a sigh of relief. This kid was really hard to die. Just when he appeared, he shocked the 4 old men in a cold sweat. At the time they were more flustered, although I have guessed that this kid is Logia devil fruit, but no one has used armament hockey to fight against. Now I use armament hockey to test, and it has an immediate effect. The stagnant water on the ground did not gather again. Although the 4 of them relaxed, they frowned again. No, if this kid is so easy to deal with, why was the bald guy caught? And Deadpool. Deadpool is dead. This is the strangest thing. Who can kill Deadpool? In addition to the few of us who can make him die, there is another situation, that is to blow him to the ground and crush his body into pieces in front of absolute power. Only in this way can he be completely killed. Alert! This kid must not be dead yet. The 4 people's minds turned sharply, and their expressions became solemn after a while, and their eyes swept around from time to time. Advertisement. Just as the 4 people scanned the hall and on the wall, an illusory figure suddenly appeared. This figure slowly bulged out from the wall, and then the surrounding walls suddenly dried up, and the walls were opened. It seems to have lost too much water and can no longer stick to it. Okay. The 4 of them noticed the abnormal movement, their eyes converged, and they immediately collided with Qin Luo's eyes. Really? When the old man with a sword saw the figure, his fist was clenched and his heart was shocked. Also fearless armament hockey. The beige old man put away his fists, and immediately re-examined Qin Luo, from the carelessness just now to the thorough faceting now. I have said that I am not demon fruit power, and I have never eaten devil fruit. Do you want me to say it several times before you believe it? Qin Luo chuckled and looked at the 4 old men with a sneer. Then where does your ability come from? Except devil fruit, who can give such ability? I want to say that I was born. Do you believe it? Qin Luo raised his arm and blinked and asked. Release the bald guy. I will give you 100 devil fruit. Seeing that Qin Luo is so difficult, the scared old man directly offered generous terms. To be reasonable, Qin Luo definitely earned a bald head for 100 devil fruits. Moreover, this bald head has been cast by Qin Luo as distinguished heavenly gods. It is completely under Qin Luo's control. Even if 5 elders does not redeem the old man, Qin Luo will also find a way to get this old guy back to them. Didn't I say it? I want to redeem the bald guy, at least 300 devil fruits. Asshole. You are sitting on the floor. The price has risen from 80 devil fruit just now to 300. How can there be such a raise? The old man with the sword gritted his teeth and stared at Qin Luo. Raise the price. To be reasonable, the bald guy is worth the price, okay. If I sell you a pig, I will never ask for so many devil fruits. If you think the price of a bald guy is similar to a pig, you can give it. I will redeem the bald guy with a few devil fruits. Qin Luo calmly stood in front of a few old men. Advertisement. Damn kid. Who are you calling a pig? Can't bear it. Save the bald guy. Do it. Sword gang. As Qin Luo fell, it directly aroused the anger of the group, and waves of surging energy rushed towards Qin Luo. Boom. 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 3.9 The tables and chairs shattered, the walls exploded, everything around was swept by force, the ground was in a mess, and the whole building shivered slightly. Sword gang. The robes of the old man with the sword grinned, his sleeves flicked, a domineering swordsman aura emerged, and a thrilling sword aura spread out from the long sword. Ripples trembled, and the entire space was active. Get up. Like the water ripples in the deep sea. Boom. The sword aura whistled, and the strong and manic sword aura had formed a substance, and a creamy white ring of sword aura swept across it. Qin Luo didn't stop his hands this time, with a faint smile on his face, his arms lightly raised, and his palms pointed at the surging sword energy that had been opened for a few meters. Without any signs, he activated his repulsive skills. Shen Luo Tianzheng. Chapter 140. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Shen Luo Tianzheng. Boom. Suddenly, the irresistible invisible repulsive force instantly spreads around Qin Luo as the center. Suddenly, the entire building palace began to tremble violently, the earth bounced and the walls collapsed, and everything around it was pushed away by Qin Luo's repulsive force. The invisible wall of repulsive force expanded to 100 meters wide almost in an instant. In an instant, the entire building screamed, and all the surrounding glass suddenly turned into powder and smashed into slag. The decorations, walls, and stone bricks were there. Under the powerful repulsive force, it shot out quickly. The 4 elders felt the strong repulsion, and everyone shrank their pupils, and their bodies slammed into the wall uncontrollably. Rumble. Accompanied by a violent roar, the entire magnificent high-rise building collapsed, and a lot of smoke rose up. Outside the palace, the thousands of Marines who were building the Heavenly Dragon Sacred Land, after hearing the loud noise, everyone couldn't help but look up. What happened? Mary Geois, the tall building of the world government collapsed. It collapsed. Why did it collapse again? Asshole. We have been rushing to work day and night, it will be completed soon. Why did it collapse again? Countless Marines looked up at the great momentum coming from the majestic and supreme place above the Holy Land. Everyone stopped working, shocked, anguished, and angrily. They were originally Marine assigned by Naval Headquarters and left behind to build the Holy Land. They wanted to be able to complete it today, but a sudden change shattered all their plans. Advertisement. The plan can't keep up with the changes. What's the matter? In less than a month, the world government was bombed twice. Who knows, but something big must happen. Assemble quickly. Go to the main building. Ensure the safety of Lord 5 Elders. After seeing the shock, some Colonel Marine gave orders quickly and decisively. Yes. The Marines all put down the bricks and tiles in their hands and swiftly headed towards their place of residence. 1 minute later, all the Naval Headquarters personnel on the Holy Land were all ready to go. A colonel of Naval Headquarters frowned and looked towards the Holy Land. He felt a little unreasonable. After seeing hundreds of heroic Marines lined up, he waved his hand and shouted, "All alert! Ready to fight!" Wow! With an order, hundreds of soldiers all took out their weapons, loaded the bullets, and flew toward the world's holy land, the highest authority, dragging a long dragon. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Russell. The building collapsed. Rubble and sand continued to fall from the air. A lot of smoke and dust filled the ground. The earth tore. The original magnificent, renewed palace, tall buildings, completely disappeared. Now, there are only hundreds of several meters of depression left here. Deep pits and a piece of brick ruins. The former world government, which was completed within a few days, was once again turned into powder under Qin Luo's heavenly conquest. Everything around was destroyed by broken buildings. This scene is simply horrible. At this time, the breeze is blowing, the leaves are rustling, and the warm sunlight is shining down from the sky. Qin Luo's figure moved slightly here, and the boulders above seemed to have received an invisible force. As Qin Luo leapt up, these stones were repelled by Qin Luo's repulsive force, and then Qin Luo stood on top of the ruins. Look around. The strength of 5 elders is very strong, and one move Qin Luo Tianzheng will definitely not kill them. Advertisement. Moreover, Qin Luo did not intend to take their lives at all. Killing them is also resurrecting, and Qin Luo will not do anything that is unnecessary. Qin Luo slowly shook my arm. This time, the repulsion was not a minor disturbance, but was raised several times by Qin Luo. Even this tall building symbolizing power and authority, under the blow of Qin Luo, none of them are spared. Just when he was intoxicated, 4 voices suddenly came from above the 4 corners. Boom, 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 boom. The 4 voices were sharp and fast, as if they were blowing in Qin Luo's ears. Suddenly, 7 or 8 huge stones flew directly into the sky, and then 4 figures appeared on the ruins. Qin Luo lowered his head and looked at these 4 people. All their faces were pale and looked embarrassed. At first glance, Qin Luo's Qin Luo Tianzheng was a loss. What a strong kid. The old man with the sword had a slight breath. The long sword in his hand was erected in front of him, and he was staring at Qin Luo eagerly. What is your ability? The tall man with a straight beard looked at the ruins behind him, and asked with lingering fear. This large-scale killer move is almost the same as the kilometer-long meteorite cast by Luyun last time. Seeing the ruins behind them, the 4 of them couldn't help but recall the fear of being dominated by flowing clouds that day. If the 5 of them hadn't eaten the fruits of life, I'm afraid they would no longer exist in this world. No comment. Advertisement. Qin Luo's face turned cold, and he stood with his hands behind. Huh. Do it. As soon as the old man scared his figure, his entire body slammed towards Qin Luo like a cannonball. Suddenly, a purple barrier appeared outside the old man's fist. As the old man's speed increased sharply, the barrier became clearer. Boy, have you ever felt the pressure? The old man smiled weirdly, and his figure rushed over. At the same time, the old man with the sword hurriedly showed the precious sword that was shining with cold light, and saw the precious sword flying up and down, and countless milky white real sword ores whizzed out. 3,600 Shinigami tornadoes. The old man with the sword spoke indifferently, and immediately, the ring-shaped tornado hurricane formed by the gathering of countless sword ores roared towards Qin Luo. The speed of the Shinigami tornado is astonishing. As its lightning screamed, a ditch tens of meters wide appeared directly on the ground. Then, the Shinigami tornado formed by the blade was mixed with sand and dust. An earth-destroying tornado, with the rapid increase in speed, from the original blade tornado of a few meters, it suddenly expanded to several tens of meters. A giant tree was crossed by the Shinigami tornado, and the entire giant tree was transformed into the powder was shattered by the blade. Sword energy overflows, and the wind screams. Wherever you go, no grass will grow. Boom. In addition to the old man's pressure fist, a purple mask of tens of meters squeezed towards Qin Luo. In an instant, it hit Qin Luo. Then, the Shinigami tornado whizzed past and directly sent Qin Luo swept in. The 4 elders looked like torches and looked towards the disaster site without any emotion. Do you died? Probably not. I am not dead. After eating your Shinigami tornado, you will have to peel the skin if you are not dead. You Shinigami tornado, but the supreme swordsmanship that claims to be able to kill Shinigami. Chapter 141. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The old man with a sword, Hungyu Chungju, with his Shinigami tornado. Even Shinigami can be cut down, even if it is stronger than the other 4 in 5 elders. He dare not to shake the old man with the sword. Your move is really terrifying, so. I hurriedly withdrew and retreated. The old man with a scar on one side had a slight breath, and his face solemnly looked at the site where the Shinigami tornado was ravaged. The black tornado, dozens of meters high, is ruthlessly releasing its power, colliding with the purple light shield, and suddenly exploding like thunder, turning into a vast horrible energy, and the surrounding air suddenly boiled, overwhelming. The force of the force screamed towards Qin Luo, the earth shattered, dark clouds rolled down, and everything around was swept into the sky. In the center of the site, broken walls and smoke and dust are everywhere. It is a disaster scene. Rumble. After the hurricane raged, there was a mess. On the ground, there were all traces of being cut by the blade, and on a huge rock, the shocking ditch and gully made the heart palpitating. The dust dissipated and the tornado annihilated. Qin Luo's figure appeared in front of 5 elders, with Qin Luo as the center. In the field 2 meters away, there was no slightest impact. Even the fatal blow of 2 of the 5 elders did not even blow Qin Luo's hair. The intact ground forms a strong contrast with the criss-crossed ground of the gully. Look at this eye-catching figure in the center of the venue. The 4 old men looked shocked. How is it possible? The first person who spoke was the old man with a sword who was confident in his sword skills. His Shinigami tornado could kill even a god, but in front of Qin Luo, he did not cause any substantial harm. Seeing the smiling young figure in the venue, the old man with a sword was extremely surprised. It's absolutely impossible. Advertisement. The scared old man also widened his eyes in disbelief, and his face twitched in horror. His pressure shield, even Admiral, is extremely difficult for the marshal to deal with. It is almost impossible to resist it intact. Unless you don't use this trick of the scared old man, as long as you use it, it is bound to see blood. This kind of thinking has long been ingrained in the old man's mind, but at this moment, seeing Qin Luo standing in the center of the venue safe and sound, how can he not be surprised? This is the result of his teaming up with the old man with the sword. If one of them dealt with Qin Luo, what would it be like? Qin Luo's faint smile formed a strong contrast with the suppressed expressions of the 4 elders. For a time, 5 elders' expressions became extremely gloomy, and they all increased their vigilance dozens of times. At the same time, cold sweat quietly came from behind them. Pop up. Fear. Deep fear of Qin Luo. Sure enough, it was very similar to what Zephyr and Gangukong said. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. At the beginning, this kid just grabbed the pirate ship with one hand. Although Zephyr and Gangbone were a little surprised, this did not make 5 elders face it. Any Logia-capable person wants to smash a pirate ship with one palm. It's very easy. At that time, 5 elders didn't care about the report. I think Qin Luo is just a little demon of Logia demon fruit power. Today, it seems more troublesome than 5 elders thought. Tricky. The 2 of us joined forces to make a fatal blow, and you can stand in place in peace. The old man's scar had a fierce look, shocked. Little devil, we admit that we underestimated you at the beginning, but you really have the confidence to take advantage of the 4 of us. To be honest, the 4 of us teamed up, it's not a simple 1 + 1. The old man with his beard hanging down stared at Qin Luo, his tone indifferent and a strong threat. Advertisement. Hee. 5 elders, I urge you to take back your set of scares. Since I dare to come, I am not afraid of the 4 of you teaming up. Qin Luo stretched his hand forward without fear. Humph. Mi Wang's beard and haired old man's figure flashed, and directly cast moonwalk in Marine 6 styles. The figure was ghostly, and it appeared above Qin Luo's head for a few tenths of a second. Tempest kick. The old man's figure was suspended, his right foot violently stepped on the void dozens of times, and the space was smashed by the stepping. Immediately, his entire right leg fiercely exerted force, forming a perfect series of bursts, a powerful hegemon driven by powerful force. One kick, kicked hard. The air suddenly suffocated, and as the long legs swept down, afterimages appeared in the void, and the sonic boom continued. The momentum was like a volcano falling from the sky, and the earth broke apart. Boom. This path was like the soul of a thunderous blow, which was constantly enlarged in front of Qin Luo's eyes. With the pressure of the old man's volley, the momentum was as heavy as a mountain, and a kick penetrated the space in front of him. Afterwards, Qin Luo's body turned into countless black crows with scarlet eyes under the gaze of the four elders. Crack quack quack. The black crow spreads its wings and flies away from here in an instant. But the old man Mi Wang's missed his foot and slammed directly on the ground. Boom. A strong energy erupted from his feet, and the surrounding wind blew on the earth like a gust of wind and rain. The site that was intact just now, under the power of 1 foot, instantly turned into dust and the earth broke apart. The hard boulders around the body were squeezed down and sank more than 10 meters. The dust in the sky flew into the sky, and the surrounding area suddenly turned into a purgatory on earth. Advertisement. 0. Okay. Landing with 1 foot, the four elders frowned. The old man of Mi Wang's also had cold eyes, and he kicked a remnant figure with a decisive and quick kick. Moreover, the black crow gave the old man a mysterious and strange feeling. What about people? Where did you go? The four old men gasped for a few cold breaths, and looked around at the same time. The sudden scene made them nervous. Unconsciously, the palm of the old man with the sword burst into fine cold sweat. The other people looked gloomy and looked like they were facing an enemy. Just as a few elders searched wildly, not far behind the three, countless black auras filled, Qin Luo's figure slowly appeared, but at this moment, Qin Luo's eyes had completely transformed into scarlet Mangekyo Sharingan. As soon as Qin Luo came out, the four elders immediately noticed the abnormality and hurriedly turned around. When all of them saw Qin Luo's strange blood-red pupils, they couldn't help but have deep doubts. What kind of eyes are you? What a weird eye, what a wicked breath. The four elders were shocked at the same time, and they were extremely defensive. Is it weird? That makes you often even more weird. Qin Luo's mouth lightly opened, the monster Mangekyo Sharingan, spinning fast, slowly, the pair of red Mangekyo Sharingan, at this time has become a pair of lavender. The pupils in the eyes, the circle-shaped pupils in the eyes, make people unable to help but sink deeply into them. Chapter 142. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Don't look at his eyes, I just couldn't help but sink into it. An old man reminded that suddenly, the other people trembled lightly, and a cold sweat couldn't help but shed. They are so ignorant of the spirit of the ghost is trapped, unable to extricate themselves. Back to normal, everyone can't help but stand ready. How did it change again? What's the matter with this kid's eyes? What kind of eye is this? Facing the doubts of the old men, Qin Luo couldn't help but smile. My eyes are called Rinnegan. These are the eyes that can destroy and create the world. The voice is clear, and no emotional fluctuations can be heard in the tone. After switching to Rinnegan, Qin Luo looked at everything around him. His sight did not change much, but he felt the powerful power in these eyes. Creation of the world. Destroy the world. Really boastful. Although the old man with a sword was jealous of these eyes, he said grandly that he could destroy the world, but the old man really didn't believe it. A mere pair of eyes can create the world and destroy the world. Do you think we are 3-year-olds? The stronger the flattery, the louder the slap in the end will be. Get enlightened. The four elders appeared around Qin Luo at the same time, punching, paw and sword. Between the flashes of his body, it was like a muffled thunder. In an instant, 4 intense and extreme bombardments hit Qin Luo's body at the same time. Idiot. Qin Luo stood with his hand in his hand and sneered. Then, 4 strong attacks like cannonballs were suddenly resisted. Boom. 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 Advertisement. Boom. The 4 of them hit the invisible shield at the same time. Okay. One of the old men's pupils shrank, his face quickly changed and said, "This is stress. Pressure shield. The pressure shield. That's not your stunt, right? How come this kid can do it too?" The other 3 old men were surprised. their eyes turned to the old man whose face turned startled. Pressure. Short-sighted. Qin Luo was speechless when he heard the old man describe his repulsive shield as stress. The mere shield of pressure blocks the old man. Let the old man's sword promise to speak first. Pressure fist. Tempest kick. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Burst palm. The four old men screamed at once, and suddenly the wind screamed, and the earth was scraped off a layer of skin. The huge stones were like cannonballs. They were kicked by a few old men and hit the shield of repulsion, making a sound of earth-shaking noise. Loud noise. A marine in the distance was rushing to the building. When they saw the apocalyptic scene and the magnificent battle in the distance, they swallowed in fear. "Colonel, what is that ability?" The colonel saw the situation ahead, his eyes widened suddenly, and he said in disbelief, "How could the world government suddenly break into the strong? Could it be that floating cloud again this time?" Flowing clouds. Hundreds of Marines heard the words, cold sweat broke out involuntarily, and the man who ruled everything and controlled the thunder and lightning appeared in their minds. The colonel's heart tightened, and an extremely dangerous premonition quickly grew in his heart, but he dared not hesitate, waved his hand and shouted, "All members, prepare to fight, you must ensure the safety of Lord Five Elders." Marine clenched the guns in his hands one by one, and rushed to the disaster land quickly. Dash 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 dash. Four of the five elders used all their strength, fists and wind roared, huge palms like mountains, and countless heavy sharp blades, all poured onto Qin Luo's repulsive shield. Advertisement. Damn it. So hard. Asshole. I don't believe it. The old man's pressure shield is invincible. Break it to me. In this world, there is no such thing as my sword can't look bad. Give me a crack. Five elders gritted their teeth, their complexion flushed, each showing their magical powers. The earth trembled, cracked, and countless boulders were lifted up. The surrounding houses were all swept away by a strong storm and instantly destroyed. This place was devastated. Countless violent air crushed to the shield of repulsion. Qin Luo is standing inside the shield of repulsion, with a calm expression. At this moment, under the gaze of the four pairs of eyes, Qin Luo smiles slightly, puts his thumb in his mouth unhurriedly, and gently bites. A small mouth appeared, and then, the red blood flowed out very quickly. Immediately, in the puzzled eyes of the four old men, Qin Luo put his hands in a strange shape. What is this for? Hurry up and smash the entire pressure shield. Obliterate him. This son, we must not stay. The four elders saw Qin Luo's weird gestures, all their hairs horrified, and they all fought hard. Crack. There was a soft noise from the pressure shield, and a visible crack slowly emerged, and then rapidly expanded. Five elders saw hope, and countless fine fists intertwined, and the blades slashed past them, hitting the shield of pressure like a gust of wind and rain. With such an intensive attack, the cracks on the shield of repulsion expanded rapidly, and in just an instant, the entire shield of repulsion was cracked, almost broken. Humph. See what else you can do. Shinigami. Dragon roll. Burst palm. Advertisement. Pressure. Spear of judgment. Iron King cannon punch. The four people worked together and the sky-shaking move was directly unfolded. In the end, the shield of repulsive force burst into pieces, and then the four old men slammed into Qin Luo with a huge astonishing attack. Seeing the four's ultimate move, Qin Luo smiled indifferently. It was not affected by the shield of repulsion. In the blood-red eyes of the four, Qin Luo smiled at the corner of his mouth, half squatting on the ground, his bloody right hand fiercely pressing the ground on the crumbling ground. The black mysterious lines instantly spread from the right hand to all directions. Summoning technique. Bang. Boom. Boom. 0.6 Suddenly, above the Holy Land, white smoke covering almost half of the Holy Land suddenly rose into the sky, drowning everything here. At the same time, five elders' peerless blow hit Qin Luo directly, and after that, Qin Luo's whole body turned into a black crow again and flew out directly. In the end, the four attackers completely smashed the embarrassed ground. Boom. The earth-shattering explosion sounded out, and the whole Holy Land was trembling crazily. The huge boulders pierced through, and countless dusts rose to the sky. The center of the site was like a volcanic eruption, and the sky was full of dust. What happened? Damn it! I can't see anything. Boom. Boom. Hundreds of Marines suddenly panicked. Some Marines even fired chaotically with their guns, and countless bullets were shot into the smoke. Asshole. Don't shoot indiscriminately. Chapter 143. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The colonel let out an angry roar, and then the gunfire stopped. Colonel. Sorry. Too terrible, I didn't control it. It's gone. Several Marines were sweating coldly, and they were too afraid of the flowing clouds in their hearts, and such a series of explosions exploded in their ears. Everyone was frightened. Those Marines who were fragile in their hearts directly wiped their guns and went off fire. The colonel, with a sullen face, quickly stood in front of the chaotic Marine from the front, staring at the bloody eyes and shouted, "Asshole. This is the last time. If there is another next time, get out from Naval Headquarters." When he shouted, all Marines were shocked, and those Marines who shot were guilty. The colonel's right arm was dripping with blood, and the gurgling came out as if he had been shot. "Colonel, you were shot," a Marine reminded nervously. Hearing that, the Marines who fired the gun just broke out in cold sweat. They were not wiping the gun, but injuring the colonel. If they were to blame, they would have to peel off if they didn't die. "I know this." The colonel gritted his teeth, his face was blue, his eyes seemed to burn, and he stared at all Marines. "Everyone. Get ready to fight. Protect Master 5 Elders. Yes. Dash 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 dash. The 4 elders stood in the pit, their faces all blue. Their attack was actually avoided by Chin Luo again. This weird black crow again. Advertisement. Asshole. Coward. Have the ability to fight upright. What's the matter of hiding? The old man with the sword cut out, a 360-degree circular blade, and the dust around him disappeared. The old man's bursting drink was not over yet, his eyes widened in horror, and he looked at everything in front of him in disbelief. Moo. A terrifying roar that shook eardrums aches from the dissipated smoke and dust. The smoke and dust were split apart by the sword spirit of the old man with a sword. In the shocked eyes of everyone, a behemoth more than 30 meters high appeared. Before their eyes, they fixed their eyes and saw that it was a giant one-horned rhino with a pair of black wings on its back. Under the chopped feet, the whole holy ground trembled continuously, and the rhino's eyes were a pair of Rinnegan. Hiss. At the same time, on the other side, a long snake with a length of several hundred meters and a width of a dozen meters, winding and rugged, covered with cold iron-like hard scales, stretched out and screamed. A pair of weird 3-cornered pupils did not appear, but was replaced by Rinnegan, the whole exuding a chilly glow. As the giant snake twisted and turned, the newly built luxurious palace on the holy ground was crushed. The huge long snake roared with an overwhelming vigor. Then, above the sky, there was a long and loud cry, and a huge blood-red bird with 2 wings stretched out its neck and hovered above the holy ground. Its wings were overwhelming. Under the instigation, the wind roared, and the whole holy ground was swept by the hurricane, better than the Phoenix Marl. K's undead phoenix is much larger and has an amazing momentum. Marine, who was incapable of strength, was swayed by the violent wind and waves, and was blown to the sky. In front of 5 elders, a huge lizard crawled, with a thick tongue and head like a chain. Under the swing, the surrounding houses were fragile and shattered into slag, and the eyes of the lizard were also Rinnegan. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Moo. The giant rhino uttered a deafening roar, and the whole earth trembled frantically. Under its feet, a series of shocking deep marks were stamped out, and its mouth opened, and it suddenly spit out a large amount of ultra-high temperature containing volcanic lava. The white breath of the city, everything around it, turned into a sea of heat waves. Fear. Ignorant humans. Chin Luo stood with his hands in his hands, standing on the ruins, his eyes indifferent, like a master. Damn it. What's the matter? The scarred old man's pupils in 5 elders shrank, and such a huge creature suddenly appeared, which surprised them. Advertisement. Look at their eyes, they are all circles of lavender pupils. Asshole. So, This was summoned by Qin Luo's little devil. The four elders all stood in battle, completely facing a mortal enemy. What kind of eyes are they? Who can tell me? I have lived for 800 years, and I have never seen such eyes. Could it be? What did we miss? Or, something changed? This kid's family must be clear, otherwise, it will always be a hidden danger to us. Get rid of the kid in front of you first, and save the bald guy. 5 elders you say, I say, and then, at the same time, they set off and whizzed towards Qin Luo above the ruins. Seeing this, Qin Luo couldn't help but tick the corner of his mouth and smiled indifferently. Let them taste the strength of other worlds. Qin Luo made a single-handed move, and immediately, the 4 violent beasts seemed to be summoned, and they rushed towards the 4 old men, their bodies as fast as lightning. The rhino ran wildly and the earth bounced to pieces. The giant snake meandered across the palace. 4 overbearing huge creatures rushed quickly. Before the arrival of 5 elders, they had completely appeared next to Qin Luo, a pair of Rinnegan exuding a cold luster, staring at the 4 old men. Moo. Advertisement. Hiss. Asshole. These creatures are completely controlled by Qin Luo. If we want to defeat Qin Luo, we must kill these ghosts. I'm fed up. I'm coming. The old man with the sword slapped his robes, and the treasured sword flew quickly, and the surging sword aura whistled out, launching indiscriminate attacks. Boom. 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 Dozens of sword were slashed out, all resisted by the 4 beasts. Those thrilling, surging sword energy that was enough to chop off the lieutenant, hit the 4 beasts, but left a few light marks on them. Did not cause much substantial harm. What? The physical body is so strong. The old man with a sword shrank his pupils, and then he yelled frantically, I don't believe it, I can't kill you. As the distance approached, the old man's face burst into blue veins, and he firmly grasped the long sword. Under the eyes of everyone, the long sword slashed at an extremely fast speed, and dozens of luminous slashes converged to form a tyrant. The sharp golden arc sword energy carries a powerful impact in its sharpness. Facing the old man's domineering slash, Qin Luo smiled calmly and waved his hand. Fight back. The beast knew it, and the rhino roared, expelling huge heat from its mouth, lifted its limbs, and slammed straight forward. And the giant snake, also twisting its iron-like body, swept past. The dominating giant bird in the sky sprayed flames, and under the instigation of its wings, flames as fierce as dragons rushed out and slammed directly into 5 elders. Chapter 144. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Damn it, the speed is too fast, I can't attack at all. Scarface spit on the ground fiercely. The movement just now was too big, and a lot of dust floated into his mouth. What kind of weird thing is this? It's not normal at all with such a huge size and such a fast speed. The curly-haired old man groaned, wondering if there is such a magical creature in this world. In the general consciousness of everyone, the larger the animals, the speed will be slower and the movements will be awkward when they move. However, what is happening before them completely breaks their previous cognition. Could it be said that there really are places in this world that we still find, where this extremely powerful ethnic group lives in seclusion? Thinking of this, the 4 old men couldn't help but feel guilty. The pressure Qin Luo put on them was too great. However, the beast that Qin Luo summoned did not stop attacking because of the contemplation of a few people. On the contrary, it was a bit more violent than before. The giant bird in the sky resembling a phoenix suddenly screamed, and the sound almost pierced the eardrums of everyone present. It's so painful. What sound is this? Even far away, the voice is still very strong, as if it is attacking the soul directly in his mind. The sweat on the faces of the 4 nearest old men was endless, and it was obvious that they were also trying their best to resist this mysterious strange sound. At the same time, the giant rhinoceros on the ground slammed over. For a while, the earth shook violently, as if an earthquake had occurred, and the scattered rocks all over the sky rushed into the sky madly following the impact of the giant rhinoceros. What kind of power is this? Advertisement. When the Marines in the distance saw this scene, their calves couldn't help but tremble. Is this the strength of the world's peak? How could humans be able to resist 3,600 Shinigami tornadoes? The old man with the sword turned cold, holding the sharp blade in his hand in front of Hungary, and then flicking it sharply. I saw that countless sword chi visible to the naked eye was formed in an instant, and it formed in a blink of an eye. A huge tornado was created. I'm going to solve the mess. The old man with the sword said confidently, his eyes fixed on the giant bird in midair. The time of speaking, the giant tornado had already covered the strange bird in the air, but the sound of the sword chi splitting the flesh and body did not come, but the sound of gold and stone. The sword chi seemed to have encountered something difficult to cut. How can that be? The old man with a sword couldn't help but swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He was confident that his move would not be easily blocked even by the Hawkeye, known as the world's #1 swordsman. However, he was not easily blocked by a miscellaneous animal. It was a painstaking effort to crack it. When it was said that it was too late, the flame-covered wings of the giant bird violently stirred up, and for a while, the giant tree surrounded by several people was uprooted by the giant wind. Everyone couldn't open their eyes because of the strong wind. That's not to say. The wind was like a blade, constantly cutting everything on the battlefield. In a blink of an eye, the originally luxuriously decorated holy place was blown to pieces. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Pressure barrier. The giant rhinoceros coming from the extremely fast impact was suddenly blocked by an invisible barrier, and with a loud bang, the old man who used the barrier turned abnormally ruddy, and the corners of his mouth oozed a strange blood. This guy's tremendous power is stronger than that of the giant, and my barrier can hardly hold it. I saw that the white barrier had already been hit with dense cracks like spider silk. How can that be? Advertisement. The giant rhinoceros was blocked, shook his head, took a few steps back, but violently rushed forward. Puff. The curly-haired old man couldn't hold on anymore. A burst of blood spurted from his mouth, apparently suffering a lot of internal injuries. Beast. Hugh is crazy. Eat my pressure fist. The curly-haired old man endured the severe pain, raised his right hand, and saw a visible light shining above, and the space around the fist seemed to be distorted, apparently above it. Cannot help but extremely strong pressure. Shave. Look at the punch. The old man flashed, and instantly came to the giant rhinoceros, and his right hand swung down. For a moment, the rocks shook, and the giant rhinoceros was also flew out by the violent punch. Plop. With a loud noise, the place where the giant rhinoceros landed has become a huge crater of tens of meters. Is it solved? Seeing that the giant rhinoceros was knocked into the air by himself, the curly-haired old man thought that it would be resolved smoothly, and his vigilance in his heart couldn't help but relax a lot. Be careful. At this moment, Scarface's eager call suddenly came from behind him. Boom. What is this sound? The curly-haired old man turned his head and took a look. He was frightened and cracked. The tail of the giant snake covered with iron and steel scales was swept over. The target was himself, and the terrifying sound was the tail of the snake. The sound of buildings on the ground. Advertisement. Before he had time to react, the snake's tail had bombarded the curly-haired old man's abdomen, and then he was directly shot out. The blood in the old man's mouth was sprayed out without money, and finally stopped after hitting countless giant trees. Naughty animal. Scar's face condensed, and the blue veins violently, armed, tempest kick, fill the moon. I saw a moonwalk stepped into the air on the Scar face, and then slammed his right leg, and a huge black blade with a width of several tens of meters instantly slashed towards the tail of the giant snake. The sharp air braking sound is like a reminder note, because the speed is too fast, causing the air behind the giant blade to form a short vacuum space. The air on both sides is quickly injected, and the violent impact sends out a violent sonic boom. As expected, 5 elders can attach hockey to tempest kick. Colonel Marine, who was not far away, tremblingly got up from the ground, and just saw this amazing scene. After a while, he remembered that the curly-haired old man was bombarded by the giant snake to an unknown corner. What are you doing in a daze? Go and support 5 elders. The colonel yelled violently. On the frontal battlefield, the giant snake seemed to perceive some threat, and its body twisted violently, and the snake letter made a terrifying sound. Kang. The black giant blade slashed at the tail of the giant snake with lightning speed beyond the eyes and ears. At the same time, the earth around the giant snake was also implicated. Tempest kick remained undiminished, as if to cut the earth. The earth-shaking explosion sounded up, and gray smoke once again spread out on the ground, covering the entire battlefield. Chapter 145. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. As the smoke slowly dissipated, what appeared in front of everyone was a bottomless gully, like a huge mouth that had to choose people to eat at any time, but such violent attacks had no effect on the giant snake. It just left a white mark on the terrifying scales. Hiss. Rinnegan stared at the scarred face in midair with the giant snake's lavender appearance. Snake Shinzi kept vomiting. It seemed that labor and management were very angry, and the consequences would be serious. Scarface swallowed a few mouthfuls with difficulty, but he kept shouting in his heart, how could this be possible? However, at this time, Chin Luo was watching the excitement on a pile of gravel, holding a bottle of rum in his left hand, and meat made of sea kings in his right hand, eating a few bites from time to time. As for the sky, the flying rocks and dust are blocked by a repulsive barrier. Is this the strength of 5 elders? It's really rubbish. Chin Luo took a sip of rum, smashed his mouth, and said inwardly. Boom boom boom. The earth shook violently again. The giant rhinoceros that had been bombarded into a pit of several tens of meters didn't know when it climbed up. There were no injuries on his body. It seemed that the curly-haired old man's attack on it was completely ineffective. Oh my god, what kind of monster is this? Immune to death no matter how you fight it, and it seems that these beasts don't feel pain. Colonel Marine commanded the Marines to bombard the immense lizard with cannons, but everything was tickle. The lizard didn't even look at them and was completely ignored. I don't believe that these monsters can't be killed. The old man with a straight beard was confused by everything that happened in front of him. Although he said he wanted to kill these incomparable creatures, there was no way at all. Let those Marines block for a while, let's save the bald guy back, and discuss how to solve these creatures. The old man with the sword has been fighting with the strange bird in midair for a while, and the clothes on his body are no longer as smooth as before. One piece by piece, barely able to cover the body, it was extremely embarrassing. Advertisement. Hearing the words, the old man with beard nodded. It's time to show your justice, for the sake of the world's ZF, for the Tianlong people, to block these beasts, we will immediately solve the coward. The old man with long beard said righteously. After hearing this, the Marines couldn't help but tremble in their hearts. What are you kidding? As 5 elders, none of you can beat this group of creatures of unknown origin. Let us trash fish resist. Isn't this what it means to die? However, Marine didn't dare to defy the wishes from 5 elders and could only bite the bullet. For a time, many Marine generals leapt into the sky on moonwalk, and several afterimages also rushed towards the giant rhinoceros. It seemed that they could really solve it. However, the reality slapped them in the face severely. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Finger pistol. Tempest kick. Quote. Wuhua 8 Gates attacking tactics hit the monster, but it was useless. How could it be so hard? Ah, my finger is about to break. Advertisement. Before the Marines in midair came and approached the giant bird, they were blown by a gust of wind and couldn't grasp the direction. Many of them were low-powered and even fell straight down, throwing up a cloud of dust. This is not over yet. The giant bird saw that there were still many obstructive existences in the air, and immediately screamed loudly. The blood-red wings seemed to burn, and then several fire dragons spewed out from the giant bird's mouth, just one in an instant. The earth seemed to be roasted, and the hot air was visible to the naked eye. Marine dropped like a dumpling. On the ground, the giant snake's tail swept violently, and hundreds of Marines, like little ants, were swept directly to the garbage dump. Ahem. A major general was clutching his bent arms, and his eyes bitterly glanced at the giant bird in the sky. Just now he finally got close to this guy, but suddenly a blast of wind slammed him directly to the ground, huge. The impact directly broke his arm. Curly hair, are you okay with your body? The old man with the sword used several flash shaves and came to the old man with curly hair. Then the other two old men also came over. Asshole. It won't work if you continue to fight like this. The Holy Land has just been built, and after such a short time, it has become what it was before, and it is even more serious than the damage caused by Luyun at the beginning. The old man with long beard looked gloomy and could not say anything. Anger. When did 5 elders endure such an aggrieved battle? It was like a bully. That guy was actually eating and drinking while watching the fun. Seeing Qin Luo's extremely unrestrained appearance, the old man scared was so angry that he shouted angrily, "You coward, hiding behind, are you afraid of us?" Qin Luo, who was watching the show, couldn't help but sneered. What kind of joke? I'm afraid of you. I'm not dead. I have some self-knowledge. Okay, if I really do it, you don't even have a chance to fight back, and you can still scream they're alive. Advertisement. Qin Luo stood tall, staring at the embarrassed 5 elders. HMPH. I think you are a big and small ghost. You can't order anything except big talk. The old man with a sword added extra energy and jealousy to the side. At this time, several elders already knew very well that if they continued to fight with these behemoths of unknown origin, it would be the guy who was watching the show that was the cheapest in the end. At that time, he was already exhausted. It's better to win with this guy while still having some strength. I have to say that the idea is good. When Qin Luo heard this, his eyes suddenly cold. He is really a life and death guy. He wanted to play with you, but he didn't expect to think of himself so much. It seems that he is comfortable sitting in a high position. Thinking of this, Qin Luo embraced his hands, clenched his right hand into a fist, and then slammed at the scar face who clamored first. 1,000 times the repulsion power dragon god cannon. I saw that the gravel around Qin Luo seemed to have been subjected to some tremendous force, and went crazy in all directions, and a vacuum zone was formed in 4.3 for a while. A white shock wave burst out from Qin Luo's right fist, and the naked eye saw only a flash of the brush. The old man snorted and flew backwards, knowing his life or death, as if he had been plowed by a huge plowshare along the way. It's even worse than the extremely powerful Tempest kick just now. Hiss. The remaining 3 old men couldn't help taking a breath. How could this be possible? The power of a punch was so terrifying. Suddenly, a few people had no idea of continuing to fight. It was a punch to solve the scar. Undoubtedly, it only takes a punch to solve oneself. Although I and others are not afraid of death, they don't like to endure it. The pain of death. Live and die. Qin Luo looked indifferently, looking down at everything. Chapter 146. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Except for the scared old man who fell to the ground with serious injuries, the other 3 were shocked and punched. The old man was severely wounded with one punch. At this moment, the 3 of them stopped at the same time, staring at the figure that seemed to be a master with solemn expressions. Damn. One punch. If this goes on, we will be killed sooner or later. Although we are not afraid of death. But the kind of pain. The beige breathing and haired old man gritted his teeth, but he was helpless. Why don't we give him 150 devil fruits and let him bald his head, and hold this guy temporarily? The old man with long beard pondered for a while, and said, the fighting power of the 5 of us together is definitely much stronger than now, because we are missing. The bald head is not short of a lot of combat power, so let's save the bald head first. Hearing the words, the old man with curly hair frowned and thought about the pros and cons. At present, there is really only such a good way. Boy, you put your bald head away, we will give you another 150 devil fruits, and you will stop. How about giving up 13 at this time? The elder man with long beard said to Qin Luo. Qin Luo raised his eyebrows, lacking interest. Are you kidding me? I want to send 150 of them. Do you think I'm a bully? Asshole. There are already a lot of 150. Seeing that Qin Luo didn't care about it, the old man with the sword was furious and planned to hit it with a sword, but the old man with beige hair pressed the sword. Qin Luo sneered, staring at several figures on the field, and said, it seems that you really remember whether to eat or not. Since you are not sincere, don't blame me for being rude. After talking about the concentration of repulsion with the right hand, it was obvious that he was about to start that terrifying move again. Advertisement. Shin Luo really wants to get rid of these troublesome guys, but the guy who eats the fruit of life has no fear of death. No matter how many times they are killed, they can be resurrected. If that is the case, I guess I won't get anything. The best way is to control it, but now there is really no way. My distinguished heavenly gods has just been used. It takes a month to cool down the skills. It takes such a long time to come to the Holy Land to blackmail 5 elders. If you only use these 150 devil fruits, I just wanted to dismiss myself, it was too simple. Wait. The old man with Scarface didn't even notice that his voice was trembling. Well, let's put your bald head away. We will give you 200 devil fruits. Let's stop here. The scared old man was really scared, and he felt sorry for the 200 devil fruit in his heart. Upon hearing this, Shin Luo smiled and said, "If you were so acquainted earlier, would you still use it for such a big fight? Hurry up and get 200 devil fruits." The old man with long beard looked gloomy and said coldly to Major General Marine, who was not far away. It didn't take long for 200 devil fruits intact to appear on the gravel-filled battlefield. Gosh, that's 200 devil fruit, how many masters can it make? Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. It would be great if you gave me one, it's worth my life. For a while, there were waves of envy and surprise on the battlefield. Little devil, we have already brought the things, shouldn't we put the bald head away? The old man with the sword asked in a cold voice. Hee. Shin Luo is a person who keeps his promises, how could he fail to keep his promises? Suddenly people saw a black hole appearing in the void, as if to take people's minds away. However, Shin Luo was not affected at all. He stretched out his hand and grabbed it inside. The tortured bald head appeared in front of everyone, shaking his hand. Throw it and hit dozens of Marines. Advertisement. Hee. I'll give it back to you guys. As for devil fruit, I laughed at it. After speaking, Shin Luo grabbed the void with his left hand and used gravity to suck 200 devil fruit into his own space. Goodbye, I will come back often to see you when I have time. Shin Luo kicked into the air, his figure disappeared from everyone's sight instantly. Damn kid. Let him leave so cheap. That's 200 devil fruits. One of the 5 elders was bleeding. The old man with the sword had gloomy eyes and a gloomy expression. The long sword in his hand was suddenly cut towards the void, and with a bang, the clouds in the entire sky were split in half. The scene was extremely shocking. What's the use of exhaling now? Why don't you kill him? The beige-haired old man yelled helplessly. Asshole, if I could hack him to death, I would have chopped him into meat sauce. Damn it. The old man with the sword could no longer hold back, and a loud roar resounded through the Holy Land. This was the first time the Marines saw it. Lord 5 elders in a rage. At the same time, in the beautiful Chambord Islands, an evil man dressed in a red cloud with a black background and a weird sickle hanging on his back was confronting a group of people. Ha ha ha. A guy from nowhere, even dared to pretend to be Luyun, it really laughs at me. A pirate with a mouthful of yellow teeth clutched his belly and smiled. Hedan raised his sword eyebrows, his face was pulled down in an instant, and he said gloomily, have you laughed enough? You can go on the road if you laugh enough. Advertisement. After speaking, Hedan took off the weird sickle behind him, waved it twice, and brought a gust of fishy wind. It was obviously stained with blood, otherwise the taste would not be so strong. Oh, little guy, have you been weaned? Dare to speak big words, aren't you afraid of flashing your tongue? The pirate laughed, and pulled out the pistol from his waist. The black hole pointed at Hedan 027 and said in a cold voice, boy, it's you who should be on the road. Boom. The gunfire sounded, and the pirate was disappointed and blew the gun smoke from the muzzle, as if he didn't bother to look at the unlucky guy who had fallen to the ground. Ding. With a crisp sound, the black projectile was easily blocked by the weird sickle. What? Missed. Hearing the voice, The original arrogant and domineering posture of the pirate watching the play suddenly disappeared, and it was replaced by a strong shock. Cut. Are you capable of this? Hidan said mockingly, his face full of disdain and contempt. What? How could this be possible? His marksmanship can hold hundreds of shots and 100 shots, why didn't he make them this time? Seeing Hidan, who was safe and sound, the pirate's disdainful expression suddenly solidified, and the shocking waves turned up in his heart. Boss, I just saw this guy wave his hand and block the bullet. A little guy said in a panic, his tone stammering, but fortunately everyone had already heard the main meaning. What's the joke? You blocked the bullet with a wave of your hand. Just now. I just didn't aim and knocked the bullet into the air. The pirate leader glared with anger, turned his head and slapped the little brother who had just spoken, and slapped coldly. If you can't speak, don't talk, you're blind. The labor and management clearly didn't hit him seriously. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 147. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. How strong can such a young guy be? I have eaten more salt than he has eaten. The pirate leader muttered in his heart, and then fired 4 shots in a row, but Hidan easily avoided all of them. Hidan said a little impatiently, "It's endless, are you so poor?" At this time, the pirate leader was stunned to discover that his little brother had not deceived him, and that the guy pretending to be Luyun could really avoid his bullets. Damn, when will there be so many powerful newcomers? The pirate leader looked sullen and said coldly, "Boy, don't think that the pistol bullet can't hit you, let you see the real bullet speed." After that, the pirate leader threw his gun on the ground, and took out a weird-looking metal ball from his pocket. Afterwards, it turned upside down in his hand, and the metal ball seemed to have received some magical force, hanging in the air and standing still. Hee, kid, there are not many people who can push me to this point. You can die by this trick, you are proud of it. The pirate leader smiled sorrowfully, and his mouthful of yellow teeth became even more disgusting. Bullet time impact blasting. The pirate leader screamed, and saw the metal ball hung in the air spinning rapidly, making a squeaking sound, which was caused by the violent shaking of the air. As soon as the voice of the leader of the pirate fell, the metal ball swiped and whizzed towards Hidan, galloping all the way. The air along the way was rubbed by the metal ball and gave out a dazzling light. Obviously, the temperature had reached thousands of degrees Celsius. Advertisement. So fast. Hidan slammed a sharp spirit, his fingers flew, and several seals were made instantly. Earth-style earth flow wall. It was too late to say, and the ground about 2 meters in front of Hidan shook violently, and the sand and gravel rose up to block the weird metal ball that was about to come. Bang! With a loud noise, the metal ball hit the rock-like earth flow wall with a roaring explosion. The rock-hard rock wall was bombarded by a small metal ball for the most part, and the flying rocks scattered all over the sky. Splashed on the ground. With the intense gunpowder and dust, the entire battlefield became blurred, and everyone had no idea what was going on inside and how the battle was going. The thick smoke gradually dissipated, and the mysterious guy who was intact was presented to everyone. Boy, it seems that you really have 2 tricks. You can take this trick from me, but what can you do? How much can you do next? The pirate leader licked the corner of his mouth, showing a sorrowful smile, as if evil spirits. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. I thought I had enough words. I didn't expect your grandson to have a lot of words. Do you know who I hate the most? Hidan raised his chin slightly and said arrogantly, "What I hate most is that others are more than me more. I want to sacrifice you to the great evil god." Having said that, an abnormal blush leaked out of Hidan's face. It was extremely crazy. If someone believes in religion, he can blurt out that he is a mad believer. The great Cthulhu Lord will like you very much. Hidan waved the giant sickle, his eyes full of liking for the pirate leader. Scythe method hook life. Hidan screamed, and the ground violently collapsed. The person had jumped into the air, and he was slashing in a strange arc with the giant sickle in both hands. A faintly green blade glow radiating a cold light and galloped towards the neck of the pirate leader. Wherever the blade beam passed, The flowers, plants and trees seemed to have been subjected to years of drought, and the leaves became scorched when brushed. Lifeless. Advertisement. Gooming. Not only the life of a person, but all living creatures can't avoid this bleak light. Naturally, the leader of the pirate also noticed the changes in the flowers and trees. His face changed drastically, his ruddy face suddenly turned pale and his lips trembled uncontrollably. However, Go Ming did not give him a chance, and the dark green blade light slowly passed the pirate leader's body like a breeze. Nothing. The pirate leader touched and saw that there were no parts on his body. He couldn't help but sneered and laughed. GG, idiot, do you think you will be in a different place? It's too simple to think. Hidan didn't feel annoyed, and flung the giant sickle behind him and hung it again. What do you mean? The pirate leader suddenly felt his heart, and when he looked down, he was so frightened that his hands became extremely dry, like a dying old man. How could you have such a vicious move? The pirate leader himself didn't realize that his voice had changed. Hidan stepped forward and came to the pirate leader's eyes, pinched his neck easily, sneered, and said, "It's really rubbish. Is this a strong man in this world such a virtue? My lord, spare my life, I'm just a little pirate. If you have a lot, let me go." At this time, the pirate leader didn't care about his dignity, and humbled for mercy. "Oh, is it, little pirate?" Hidan raised his eyebrows, and said with a strong voice, "Tell me who is the strongest in this world, and I will spare you a dog." Advertisement. The pirate leader said in a panic, "My lord, the strongest in the world is 5 elders. I can't even match their toes." After speaking, the pirate pointed in the direction of the Holy Land. "Hee. In this case, you don't have any existential value." Hidan smiled coldly, and slightly hardened his right hand. Only hearing a click, the head of the pirate leader had fallen weakly. 5 elders, I'm going to see how powerful it is. Hidan looked away, penetrating the void, looking in the direction of the Holy Land, and muttered in his heart. After that, Hidan leapt up in the air, fisted with his right hand, and grabbed the younger brother of the pirate leader just now. "Boy, want to survive, take me to the holy place that your shit captain said. If you don't follow it, your end will be terrible." Hidan threatened with a giant sickle in one hand. Yes, my lord." The captain was dead, and the little pirate dared to resist. He hurriedly agreed. Then, the two quickly disappeared into the crowd, leaving a group of cold-sweating pirates talking. "Who is this guy? He is wearing the costume worn by the god of flowing clouds. Could it be that it is really god of flowing clouds? I don't think the aura is the same. Although he is a bit like a god, I still feel that he is not the god of flowing clouds. He doesn't have the cold and arrogant temperament of god of flowing clouds. Damn, what kind of organization are they? It feels like Luyun is terrifying." Chapter 148. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. At the same time, above the Holy Land, there was a ruin. "That horrible guy is finally gone." A Marine Major General was grateful. He didn't know if he could see the sun tomorrow if he continued to fight. "The palace that was just built has been destroyed again. Is it going to continue to be rebuilt?" Looking at Mary Geois, a sacred place that has become a broken brick, many people feel sad. Some time ago, 5 elders just ordered a rebuild, but they didn't expect that it would be completely destroyed by that terrifying guy after it was built. Gia. Just as the people were helping each other and waiting for rescue, a terrible and piercing weird laughter suddenly came. "Who?" The old man with the sword yelled coldly, staring at a weird guy standing on the top of the rubble with his cold eyes. "That costume." 5 elders looked at them and found their minds in a state of confusion. "It's Luyun." Many Marine yelled in panic. Because of tension, his voice became a strange tone, but no one laughed at him at this time. Everyone present was almost a virtue. After all, Luyun's the pressure is too great. Flowing clouds. The old man with long beard was shocked, his beard trembled, and he hurriedly turned his head to look. It shouldn't be that guy, just the same clothes. Scarface's eyes are better, feeling that Hidan doesn't have the temperament of the Luyun that destroyed the Holy Land that day. Advertisement. I don't think it's Luyun either. This kid doesn't have Luyun's overbearing aura. The old man with the sword had gloomy eyes and said with a cold voice. According to the analysis of the audience, 5 elders was relieved from the original tension. Just after fighting with Qin Luo, they basically have no combat effectiveness. If Luyun that guy pops out again at this time, the Holy Land will be true. Does not exist anymore. GG. I originally wanted to see how powerful the strong in this world is. I didn't expect to be like a falling water dog. It's really funny. Wearing a red cloud with a black background, Hidan waved the horrible sickle with one hand, looked at the chaotic surrounding Marines with contempt, and said mockingly. Damn it, where did this guy come out? Dare to pretend to be Luyun. Is it true that there is no one in the world government? Many people in Marine have heard the words of Lord 5 Elders, knowing that this is not the suffocating flowing cloud. They breathed a sigh of relief in their hearts, and at the same time a sense of anger that was played by someone appeared. Looking for death. Doberman, who was already a major general, rushed over with a huge sword in his hand. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Luyun can't beat it himself, and Qin Luo can't beat it himself, but this arrogant guy can't beat it himself. Where are there so many strong men in this world? Shave. Daubman's figure flashed, and he walked around behind Hidan. The sharp blade carrier slashed and slashed, but Hidan didn't seem to notice it. He was still dancing and mocking everyone with crude movements. A bunch of idiots. Come over to you, Hidan, I will stand up. Hidan's exaggerated appearance and exaggerated words make people want to rush up and give this guy 2 big mouths, so that he can understand why the flowers are so red. Go to hell, little devil. Doberman looked savage, and seemed to have seen the scene of the damn it guy separating his head. Advertisement. With a weird sound, the sharp giant sword slashed on a huge stone, making an unusually harsh sound. What? Daubman was stunned. It was that arrogant guy who was clearly chopped down by himself. Why did he suddenly become a rock? For a while, everyone present at Marine was no different. Major General Doberman couldn't get enough eyes. How could he chop up at the stone? GG, your kid is really unbehaved and attacked from behind me. Hidan grinned strangely, eyes full of mockery. Hidan had discovered Doberman's movements a long time ago, but wanted to tease this guy. He had already cast body replacement technique and walked away before the attack came. Stupid big man, this uncle is not in the mood to fight with you. I heard that the most powerful person of you is called 5 elders. Hurry up and let them come over and have 2 tricks with me. If the strength is still good, I will be mine. That's it for the little brother. Hidan said carelessly. Asshole, you dare to offend Master 5 elders so much. I think you are a birthday star who eats arsenic. Daubman was furious by Hidan's indifferent attitude, his eyes turned red, and he wanted to choose someone to eat. Yo, I'm angry. Why, not convinced. Hidan waved his sickle in both hands, raised his eyebrows, and said coldly, come and kill me if I'm not convinced. If only talking big words could kill me, I went to see Lord Cthulhu. Speaking of Cthulhu, Hidan's eyes are full of worship and madness. The omnipotent Cthulhu has given him this power that scares the world, and he must find a great Cthulhu who is suitable for sacrifice. Lion impact. Doberman was really unbearable for this somewhat silly guy, holding a huge sword, and making several slashes horizontally and vertically, and finally the slashes merged into a roaring lion with a huge mouth open. The lion moved, not running wildly on the ground, but stepping in the void. The thick mane continued to shed around, forming a series of small but powerful wind blades, bombarding the gravel, blinking. It has become a fan in between. It's terrifying. The little aftermath from the impact of the lion can turn the object into dust. If it is frontal, it is estimated that not only the bones will not be seen, but the ashes will not be left. Hidan has been fighting for many years, and he can naturally feel the power of the lion's impact, but he didn't take it to heart. The attack method is too single. The straight line impact, although the speed is very fast, but he only needs a body flicker technique to completely avoid it. Now, it's really not challenging. Advertisement. Boom. With a loud noise, countless hundreds of caddies of boulders were bombarded into the air by the lion's impact. The fierce mane turned into 1,000 swords, infinitely cutting everything in a radius of hundreds of meters. In a few breaths, there was nothing intact in the field, all had become powder. Scythe technique. The moon. Hidan dodges to avoid the frontal lion impact, and then throws the huge sickle in his hand, showing an arc of 1.5 months, cutting towards Daubman, with a faint blue light on it, obviously chakra full of wind attributes. The power is really amazing. It stained the clothes I just brought. Hidan controlled the sickle in one hand, while looking down at his robe, said in a somewhat uncomfortable tone. Is it a remote attack? Doberman looked at the 1.7 weird sickle that was getting closer, and made a judgment in his heart. But this speed is too slow, it can easily be avoided with the 6-style shave. However, when Doberman wanted to avoid the speeding sickle, his eyes swept the cruel smile from the corner of the mysterious man's mouth. Lan Yu first embrace. What? Doberman looked at the sickle with a shock in his heart. He saw that the sickle, which was still some distance away from him, seemed to be alive. There was a jitter, and instantly formed several dark blue chopping waves, encircling him in a ring. Then, no matter which direction oneself flees, it is impossible to hide in the past. For a time, Doberman had to choose hard resistance. GG. Hidanshin clicked the corner of his mouth, waiting for this time. Chakra, full of wind attributes, has the ability to cut all things. How could it be possible to carry it down only with your flesh? It's really naive. Chapter 149. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Armed iron body. Doberman shouted violently. His hands instantly turned black, and other parts turned into eye-catching bronze. ZZ. The sickle-shaped chopping wave kept cutting Doberman's incomparably dark arm, making a piercing and sharp cry. The sickle in the distance didn't stop at all, and the slashing blows bursting outward to replenish what had been consumed. Before long, Doberman's arm had changed from black to gray, and the color gradually dimmed. Gia Gia. Hidan said with a sly smile, I want to see how long you can last. Bah. A crisp sound appeared so harsh in the chaotic cutting, I saw that Doberman's arm had already seeped a layer of bright blood. Can't hold it anymore. Doberman was in a panic, and the sweat on his forehead came out at once. Where did this guy come from? How strong he was, and he didn't have the power to fight back at all. Chopper wave is getting closer and closer to Doberman's body. At this moment Doberman has already turned into a blood man, and the cloak of justice has already been broken into pieces. Advertisement. Hurry up and support Doberman 10 man, or he will be killed by that guy. The old man with the sword glared. Naturally he couldn't watch his subordinates being killed like this, although he was a little dissatisfied with Doberman's strength. But in the presence of so many people, people still have to be saved. Thinking of this, the old man with the sword no longer hesitated, drew out the weird long sword at his waist, swiped his right hand forcefully, and a slashing wave several meters high was formed instantly and flew towards the strange sickle. Along the way, chopping waves seemed to cut through the ground, flying sand and rocks, leaving a trench several meters deep. It's really a hindrance. Hidan looked gloomy when he saw someone showing a helping hand. He didn't want his baby sickle to be destroyed, so he stretched his right hand back, and the giant sickle flew back flexibly. As for Doberman, it was. He collapsed to the ground, vomiting blood, and there was no good meat on his body. If a few more seconds passed, it would be almost the same as Ling Chi's execution. Damn it, you bastard, dare to label Major General Marine like this, I think you are tired and crooked. The scar-faced old man shouted angrily. Finger pistol. Ape King. A huge shock wave burst from the fingers of the old man with Scarface, and a powerful momentum instantly filled the entire battlefield. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Hidan, who was in the center, looked straight and looked at the embarrassed 5 old men with interest. Knowing that this was the 5 elders he was looking for, he couldn't help but snorted in his heart. 3,600 Shinigami tornadoes. The old man with a sword is not to be outdone. It seems that any cat or dog can provoke the world authority. If you don't give them a bit of color, you really think that the world government is a soft persimmon to bully. Damn it. Hidan watched the giant tornado rising into the sky and the Ape King who was several meters tall. He trembled slightly in his heart. As expected, he was a strong one, really much stronger than those dogs, feces, miscellaneous fish and pirates. It's comparable to a forbidden technique. It seems that I have to show some real skills. Advertisement. The tornado brought the gravel on the ground and roared, and the whining sound made my heart tremble, and the shock wave of the Ape King not far away turned into a light wave, whizzing towards the mysterious man. Scythe shield. Hedan turned the bloody March sickle in his hand slightly, making a circle around it, and a dark red barrier was instantly formed. In a blink of an eye, the slashing wave from the old man with the sword has arrived, and the countless huge sand and stone blocks that carry him whine, like the grieving roar of the evil ghost in the abyss of hell. Chiang chiang. The powerful wind blade cuts on the dark red barrier, making a sound of ears. This is not the end. The Ape King, who is a few meters high, has run to Hedan's side at some point. Wow! The Ape King let out a earth-shattering cry, and the white clouds in the sky were shaken to pieces by this huge sound wave. After that, the Ape King rushed into the tornado without looking back. Boom! With a loud bang, Hedan, who was suspected of flowing clouds, was bombarded hundreds of meters away by an unknown force, leaving a terrifying scratch on the ground. Ahem. Hedan stood up slowly. His gaze seemed a little cautious. It seems that he really underestimated the world powerhouse. This is just two old men's action. Can force himself to be like this. If you change to 5, how about an individual shot together? You know that this world is the weak and the strong, and you don't care about how much you bully. Hedan, who has been through the bloody storm in the Naruto world, knows this very well. Advertisement. Can't play remote combat with them. It would be too bad for me. Hedan wiped the bloodline at the corner of his mouth and made a decision in his mind. After all, he is good at physical skills. If you fight with such a group of people who like to play long range, you can have an advantage, unless the difference in strength is too great, but according to the current situation, I'm really not that piece of material. Suddenly, Hedan's eyes condensed, staring at the old man with the sword, and muttered in his heart, "Since you are holding a sword, it means you are playing close combat, which is just comparable to my bloody March sickle. A group of shameless people, is it possible that they like to deceive more and less cannot be achieved?" Although Hedan is impulsive, it does not mean that his brain is stupid. In fact, at this time, 5 Elders has a lot of doubts in his mind. Whether this guy is Luyun or not. After all, his strength is obvious to all. Before Luyun was so powerful, his 5 people could not beat him with all his strength, but now he is only holding the old man with the sword, and the old man with the scar will be able to trap this mysterious guy to death, and he can't use any skills. Thinking of this, a cold light flashed in the eyes of the old man with the sword, and said to the 4 old men behind, "I will meet this guy. He has too many doubts. If it is Luyun, it means that he is deliberately showing weakness. If not, then it must have a lot to do with Luyun." Regarding the strength of the sword-wielding old man, the remaining 5 elders knew very well, even if this mysterious guy is really Luyun, that bastard, there is no need to worry about anything, it's just a rebirth. So everyone nodded one after another, indicating that they agreed with this opinion. "Boy, don't be arrogant, the old man will meet you." The old man with the sword shouted angrily, stepping on Moonwalk and rushing over. When Hedan saw the visitor, a sly smile crossed the corner of his mouth. He had to say that these guys were stupid to die, and they would give themselves whatever they wanted. If they didn't kill him and sacrifice to Lord Cthulhu, it would be too inappropriate. All of a sudden, Hedan's facial expression became very exciting. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 150. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. "Boy, I have to say that you are really courageous, but I don't know if you are a brave artist, or you are not afraid of tigers." The old man with the sword has galloped in front of Hedan as he talked, and the strange long sword in his hand spread with the cold light of crippling people. Chong. Hedan blocked the sharp sword with the bloody March sickle in his hand. His face was gloomy, and he said coldly, "I didn't expect to have so much physical strength at an age, it's amazing." "Old man, I said you should go home and hug your grandson as soon as you are old, and enjoy your family happiness. What do you wander about here? Do you do things that are not respectful for the old every day? Hidan's murmur kept talking, but the fight between the two didn't stop. You came and I was very fierce. The old man with a sword was irritated by Hidan's words. How did he speak at a young age? How did he teach him when he was a child? Tempest kick broken empty. I saw that the long sword in the hand of the old man with the sword hit Hidan's sickle and leapt into the air with his strength, and then slammed his right leg. A silver-white chopping wave was formed in an instant, hitting Hidan directly below. Good coming. Hidan sneered. Scythe's shield. The dark red shield formed again, a bit brighter than before, as if blood would drip down at any time. What a strong smell of blood, have you smelled it? The old man with long beard looked solemn, sniffed the air, and glanced at the two men who were fighting not far away. Advertisement. Yes, since that guy entered the arena, the bloody smell gradually became stronger. It seems that this guy is not a kind person at all. At this time, Hu's bald head was somewhat relieved, although his expression was still a little depressed, but the eyes are very energetic. I don't know how many grievances there are under this guy, even if he is Luyun, what can I do? Today I will promote justice and punish this villain. Scared, the old man said in hatred. When 5 elders was so embarrassed, now everyone can bully it. It's been a long time, how can you shock Xiao Xiao? Hearing what the old man said, the curly-haired old man said nothing, not knowing whether he agreed with him or opposed it, but judging from the expression on his face, he did not agree with what he said. Are you kidding me? Don't you die more in the hands of 5 elders than him? How funny he can kill a few. 3,600 Shinigami tornadoes. The giant tornado formed again, and almost moved towards Hidan, who was holding the shield, with a force of sweeping through the wilds. The sacred place that had been destroyed with nothing left was baptized again by the wind blade. There was nothing on the earth to destroy, only the bare surface was left, but the huge wind seemed to be unsatisfactory, and it had to blow up something before it was willing to give up. I saw that the hurricane was the center and the mud tens of meters in radius seemed to be affected. The gravitational force of the black hole was the same, and it moved closer to the hurricane. After a short while, the ground in the place where the huge wind passed was already several meters shorter than other places. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Damn, old man, you're endless, don't you do anything but this trick. I'm so fed up with you. Hidan exclaimed extremely impatiently. Little devil, don't be stubborn, take this trick from me. The old man with the sword was not angry, and the demon sword in his hand was still waving. The giant tornado grew stronger and the wind screamed, seeming to want to tear this world apart. It's the same as opening a hole. It's over, it's over, it's over. Hidan clutched his head and watched the hurricane moving closer, and everything seemed panicked. Old man, take your magical powers, I can't do it if I admit defeat. Hidan clasped his hands together, with an imploring expression on his face. What did you do early? I said it's too late. The old man with a sword was proud of his face. In his opinion, he was able to label Luyun as such a virtue, and he really had the capital to brag about. Advertisement. Hey, I tell you not to be too much, you have to be forgiving and forgiving, knowing or not. Hidan seemed to be a little annoyed, and said cursingly, if I can't live, you won't be much better. Regarding the threat of this mysterious guy, the old man with a sword might not be at all in his heart, it was just a dying struggle. It seems that everything is over. The elder man with long beard naturally saw the ugliness of the mysterious man, and he had some doubts in his heart. Is this guy really not Luyun? If so, how could his strength be so bad, just an old man with a sword? Does a person beat him like this? For a time, all kinds of questions came to mind. Hey, since you old boy don't know what's good or bad, don't blame me, you're welcome. When Hidan became normal, he was no longer the only way he was just now, but became fearless. It's weird. Regarding the change in Hidan's expression, the elders outside the battlefield naturally saw clearly, knowing that this mysterious person must be deceiving. Be careful. The old man's scar couldn't help shouting into the air, but his voice seemed insignificant in front of the giant tornado, and people couldn't hear what he was saying. Closer. Closer. Hidan looked mad, and unexpectedly suspended the weird weapon behind him, with both hands ready to embrace the earth-shattering huge wind. Is he crazy? Advertisement. Is it possible to know that you are not an opponent and want to give yourself a decent way to die? Ninfa body replacement technique. The violent wind lifted up a huge amount of dust, and people could no longer see what was happening in the center of the field, and naturally they could not see the slight movement of Hidan's fingers before the storm. As a shadow-level powerhouse in the Naruto world, Hidan's three-body technique uses it as a masterpiece and is easy to come by. Ah! A scream was suddenly revealed from the dust in the sky, and even covered the angry wind roar. Are you killed? Listening to the unusually screaming screams, many Marines suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that the mysterious guy has been cut into powder. No wonder everyone thought so, because at this time the corner of the tornado became extremely bright, which was caused by the blood-staining red. The old man standing in midair naturally saw this scene. The demon's sword in his hand stopped waving. After a while, the giant wind disappeared on this white land. If it weren't for the terrifying gap on the ground, everyone wonders if there was a fight just now. Where is that guy? The old man with Scarface asked. It should be broken to pieces. The old man with long beard said with some uncertainty. He has a deep understanding of this trick of the old man with a sword, and no life will survive at that level of tornado. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, Second Element novel can be read at hotmtlnovel for free.